Hey everyone, welcome back to Naruto Audio Fanfics 2.0, your ultimate destination for epic Naruto stories. I'm your friend, and today we're back with another brand new fanfic filled with action, mystery, powerful emotions, and unexpected twists. And today's story is, which is what if Naruto Uzumaki lived as a girl after Kurama transformed him, and captured everyone's hearts. Part 1, a story where destinies change, secrets are revealed, and Naruto's true power leaves everyone speechless. If you enjoy fanfics like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another amazing story. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for an unforgettable journey. And now, let's start the fanfic. This is my version on the aftermath of the battle between Sasuke and Naruto at the Valley of the End. Sasuke was captured and was returned to Konoha, but changes are on the horizon for everyone. It was a week after the capture of Sasuke. The group of Neji, Shikamaru, Kiba, Akamaru, and Choji were all doing fine. Shikamaru came out with only a few scratches and a broken finger. Choji would have died from the effects of his family's chakra pills, but Tsunade countered the side effect, death. Kiba and Akamaru were doing fine. Neji was fine, but suffered 3 broken ribs and a broken right leg. The hole in his chest was repaired, but he would need time to recover. The only person that was not in the hospital was Naruto. He woke up a day after he was brought back by Kakashi. He had left the hospital and returned home. Tsunade was getting worried for he was not his usually loud self, but she could not do anything for him, but to leave him alone for the moment. Tsunade was currently in her office, waiting for Kakashi to come in and report his findings when he arrived at the battleground of Sasuke and Naruto. He entered into the office, actually on time, which surprised her. Behind him was Guy and Ibiki. Kakashi came up to her desk and handed her his report. Kakashi, tell me what you saw when Guy, Ibiki, and you arrived to retrieve Naruto and Sasuke, she asked. When we got there, the battle was already over. Before we arrived we felt 2 enormous chakra sources. We found Sasuke in a crack, in the rock face with both arms and legs broken. He was unconscious when we found him. Naruto, we did not know where he was till Guy heard noise from the lake. We saw bubbles coming from the center and I quickly dove in and found Naruto sinking to the bottom. I was able to get him to the surface and to the shore. I found he did not have a pulse. I was about to revive him, when the red chakra engulfed his body. His body jerked, like he was hit with lightning. He spat out water and started to breathe again. He opened his eyes to me, but they were not his blue color, but red with slits. I was horrified for when the chakra engulfed him, the seal on his stomach showed and I found it was partially missing. I thought the Kyuubi had taken over. I found it did not when Naruto looked at me and smiled. He fell unconscious, shortly after. It seemed the chakra healed his major wounds on his body, especially the one on his right shoulder. Guy and Ibiki field dressed Sasuke while I checked over Naruto. The medics came some time after and we returned back to the village. Tsunade nodded her head and let out a sigh. While I was examining him, I forced the seal to be visible and saw that it was broken. I did not want him to leave the hospital, just in case, but he left on his own. I have placed 2 Anbu to shadow him at all times. He has only left his home to go train, but has not returned to his home in the past 3 days. It seems many of the villagers blame him for Sasuke's actions. His apartment was broken in 3 days ago and trashed. Those villagers have become more hostile towards him. The day his apartment was trashed, he was attacked by some of the villagers. I was glad to have the Anbu following him. They stopped the attack, but he took off. They had lost sight of him, but I know he is still in the area. The Anbu that are stationed in the forest have seen him. I am afraid of what the villagers would do to him, especially since it is close to the day the Kyuubi attacked. Kakashi, I want you to bring him here to me. I have sent for Jiraiya to come and see what we can do to fix the seal just in case it falters to the point of the Kyuubi being released. I have read some notes on Naruto by the third, saying that the seal might have slipped when he first learned why the villagers were disgusted with him. Yet he said the seal would hold up for the entire life of Naruto, which when he dies, so would the Kyuubi, but he did not foresee this ever happening. I want to be on the safe side, for if we are not able to. I understand Tsunade-sama, I will leave now to bring him here. Kakashi disappeared, along with Guy. Tsunade looked to Ibiki. He still has not awakened and we are having trouble finding Jiraiya. Send out 2 more search parties to find him. Tell him that it concerns his student. Yes ma'am. Ibiki disappeared and Tsunade looked down at her desk. For once it was clean of any paperwork. She had been too frustrated with what had happened, she put her pent-up frustration on finishing her tasks. She was just too worried for Naruto to do anything else. Foxed. In the forest, Naruto was in a tree asleep on its highest branches. He had been in the forest for the past 3 days, not wanting to return to his home. To him, his own home was a battlefield of hate. Hate towards him for something he did not have control over. His dreams were plagued with the villagers' hatefulness towards him. Their words felt like stones hitting him. He relived his childhood of loneness. He tried to wake up, but a tug from his seal pulled his consciousness into part of his mind, where the Kyuubi no Kitsune rests. Naruto got up from the floor. The place he was in, it did not have its same look of dark tunnels, red water, and red lighting. He looked to his feet. They were bare, and he snorted at that. He had gone into town to get new shoes for his old ones were falling apart even before his battle with Sasuke. They finally fell apart when he ran into the forest to get away from the villagers. He stopped long enough to take them off and ran deeper into the forest. He looked to the pants he was wearing, black and not his orange color. His shirt was dark blue with short sleeves and a red swirl on the back. Tsunade gave these cloths to him to wear until he got home. He did not change into his orange set of suits, but worked out in his new clothes. His necklace he won from Tsunade was visible and he smiled at that. His forehead proctor was around his neck. He closed his eyes and looks up towards the cage. What do you want, you stupid fox? He heard chuckling from the fox and opened his eyes with a smirk on his face, until he saw that there was no cage in front of him. He caught movement to his right and turned around to find that the Kyuubi was circling him. It chuckled again, seeing the surprised look on Naruto's face. Surprised to see me, Kit? It asked. Naruto was speechless. He kept his front towards the fox as it circled him. His fear rose in him, wondering what the fox will do to him and once done, what with Konoha. The fox chuckled again seeing his fear and reading his thoughts. Do not worry, Kit, I will not harm you. Even if I could escape, I would have no body to return to. My soul was trapped into your body, and from my soul comes my power that you use. Naruto became confused. The Kyuubi was not emitting killer intent, and its voice was not dripping with venom as it spoke. Even its eyes were soft towards him. This was a total change from when he fist meet the Kitsune, demanding the use of its power as rent. It quit circling around him and lay down on the ground. It crossed its right front paw over its left and laid its head on its feet. Its 9 tails fanned out on the ground pointing towards Naruto. He saw that Kyuubi was a crimson color all over its body and its fur looked soft and thick. It is good to get out from that cramped cage. It let out a huge yawn, showing off its mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. It looked back at Naruto giving him a fox grin. What are you going to do to me since you are out? Naruto asked. The fox snorted hearing what Naruto said. Naruto fell to the ground from the wind of Fox's snort. I will do nothing to you or Konoha. I am sorry for what has transpired over your life. I take the responsibility of my actions. I was used. I was summoned and a control jutsu was placed on me, when I would not obey who summoned me. There was no such thing as a summoning contract with the foxes, but somehow, someone was able to summon me. I should have been nicer to you, for you had no say in becoming the container of I. My anger at myself and at the person that made me attack your village distracted me. How do I know you are not trying to trick me to let my guard down around you? How were you able to escape the cage? Do not worry, I will not hurt you. Reason I am out of my cage, the seal broke under the pressure of my chakra I sent to you, to help you heal and to fight your friend. Once the seal broke, I was free from my cage. After the seal broke, our souls have been mixing at a faster rate, so my soul is your soul. What do you mean my soul is your soul? Since I was first sealed into you as a baby that was just born, our souls have been mixing together. My crimson red with your golden yellow. I will not harm you. I wanted to in the past, but now that my anger is gone, I want to make amends to you. What do you mean? That is for you to find out. You are still not recovered from your fight, physically and mentally. Now I want you to sleep. Naruto looked at the fox, before falling asleep right in front of it. It got up and walked up to the boy. It looked down at him with a sad face. It let out a small sigh and lay down by the boy, curling its massive body around him. It covered the boy with a tail and fell asleep with him. On the outside, Naruto had a confused look on his face which slowly turned into a small smile from the warmth and kindness from the Kyuubi. Naruto curled himself tighter in a ball, on the large tree branch he was sleeping on. He fell into a deeper sleep, he had not had in a long time. Tsunade had sent Kakashi and Guy to retrieve Naruto after some of the villagers had attacked him. He has not been seen in 3 days. The seal, which keeps the Kyuubi locked away, is fading. She is worried about him and does not truly know what to do, but only be there for him. Kakashi was getting worried when he could not find Naruto. Guy was unusually quiet since their meeting with the Hokage. Kakashi, is it true that? Yes, Guy, it is true. If the seal is broken and Jiraiya and Tsunade-sama are unable to fix it, Naruto may have to be. You do not have to say it, I know. From how the Hokage looked, she does not want it to go down that path. That is true. Naruto is the reason that she is our Hokage. It will devastate her and Jiraiya if it has to be done. They moved on for another hour before Kakashi was fed up, from not finding a trail made by Naruto. Guy, let's take a break, I am going to summon my nin dogs to search for Naruto. Guy nods at this ideal and came with an angered retort to the copy ninja. Why did you not do that earlier? Kakashi just smiled under his face mask and starched at the back of his head. I did not think of it till now, he said sheepishly. Guy just rolled his eyes. He walked over to a tree and sat down against it. Kakashi chuckled at himself. He bit his thumb and went through the hand seals he needed to summon his nin dogs. When he was finished, 6 appeared before him. Pakun, the little pug nin dog, looked at him and gave out a sigh. What do you want, Kakashi? Kakashi smiled at the little dog. I need you and the others to help me find Naruto. We have been searching all day for him. Fine, we will call once we find him. Thank you. The nin dogs took off in different directions and Kakashi joined Guy next to the tree. Do you think that Jiraiya and Tsunade-sama will be able to fix the seal? I don't know, Guy. I do hope they are able to. He has gone through life with many hardships that no one else could imagine, or willing to go through. Foxed. In part of the forest, Naruto was in, 3 people were moving at a fast rate. On their forehead protectors was the symbol of hidden stone. Damn, why did we have to be called back now? We were almost able to figure out their security detail. Stone Nin 1 said. We won't be able to. Their security is tight right now even after the attack from Sound and Sand. They are not taking any chances. We will have to wait until sometime in the future. Once they feel safe that no attack will come, they will let their guard down. Then we can come back and figure out a plan. Stone Nin 2 said. They all agreed to this. They kept on moving through the trees. They stopped once they heard a howl from a dog. They all stopped and went into defense stances. They waited for something to happen, but was not prepared as 3 dogs rushed past them on the ground. They saw that they wore forehead protectors with the symbol of the leaf. Each was wearing some type of shirt with a drawing on the back. What was that all about? Stone Nin 3 asked. I do not know, but I seen those nin dogs before. They are summoned by the leaves, copy Kakashi. Stone Nin 1 said. Should we follow them to find out what is going on? Stone Nin 3 said. Yeah, we might be able to kill the son of Konoha's White Fang. Stone Nin 1 said. They followed the nin dogs to a small clearing. There they saw 3 more nin dogs taking up a defensive around a tree. What are they up to? Stone Nin 3 asked. I do not know, but I see something up in the canopy of the tree, but I cannot make it out. Stone Nin 1 said. Do we go up or do we wait? Stone Nin 2 asked. I say we wait and surprise the copy nin with his death. Stone Nin 1 said. They all agreed to this plan, getting ready to attack. It did not take long for Kakashi and Guy to appear. They both came walking in. Kakashi had a smile under his mask and his visible eyes showed amusement. He approached the pug nin dog. Thank you for finding Naruto for me, Pakun. Pakun rolled his eyes to his left. That makes 3 favors you owe me. I know. Guy, why don't you get Naruto for me? I will make something for us to eat before we head back to the village. Knowing Naruto, he has not eaten. Guy just shrugged, and made his way up the tree. He got halfway up, when one of the stone nins attacked him. The other 2 attacked Kakashi. All 3 threw various sharp instruments at them. What surprised them was that their attacks hit their mark. Both Kakashi and Guy disappeared in a puff of smoke. The stone nins got into a defense stances to prepare for their attack. The nin dogs quickly made their way up the tree to protect Naruto, just in case one moved to take him. The stone nin on the tree jumped down before the large bulldog, bit him. They made their way to the top and surround Naruto. The stone nins came together, back to back to protect each other. They waited for the attack and felt like it was not going to come. All of a sudden, the earth started to shake from underneath them and 3 pairs of hands grabbed their ankles, pulling them down through the ground. Once the attack was finished, all that was seen was their heads. Guy and Kakashi came walking up to the 3, from the forest. Kakashi crouched down in front of the 3 men. He placed his right elbow on his right knee and placed his palm on the side of his face. His uncovered eye was closed and he had a smile under his mask. Now what are 3 stone nins doing in Konoha Forest? I do hope it was a stroll and not information gathering to find any weakness in our defenses. The 3 stone nins looked at him with anger. They struggled to get themselves free from their restraint. Oh well, I guess we just have to turn them over to Ibiki to find out what they were doing here. I think he will be happy. He has not had any fun in the past few months. I think giving these 3 to him will cheer him up. The 3 stone nins paled at hearing Ibiki's name. How did you know we were here? Stone nin 2 asked. Humph, my friend Pakun told me where you were when we arrived, but I knew you were around for we had come on the same trail you made and I could detect you chakra signatures. You were not very good at masking them. Plus, you all stink. I mean, talking about poo. Have you ever heard of getting a bath? Kakashi waved a hand in front of him and pinched his nose to add effort on the body odor coming from the ninjas. He looked up as his nin dogs came down the tree. The bulldog was carrying Naruto by the waistband of his pants. Kakashi got up and took Naruto from the nin dog. He felt how warm Naruto was and shook his head. Pakun, if you can, return back the village and get some Anbu to come and retrieve these 3. Tell the Hokage that Guy and I have Naruto. We will come back with the Anbu. Fine Kakashi, but you now owe me a total of 32 favors. I know, I will make it up to you. Pakun took off, while the other 5 disappeared. Kakashi looked down at Naruto and smiled to himself. He laid him by the tree and let him sleep. I amazed Naruto sleep through all that. You are just going to let him sleep? Guy asked. Yes, I will wake him up when we make dinner. He has a bit of a fever. We will make camp for the night. I doubt the Anbu will come until mid-morning, but if Ibiki hears he has 3 visitors, he may make it here by midnight. Help me tie them to the trees. They spent the next few minutes pulling each stone nin out from the ground and tying them to a different tree. They knocked each one out and went through their belongings. Guy went to fetch some firewood while Kakashi prepared their camp. Guy came back with a large armload of wood and went back out to refill their water bottles. Kakashi got the fire started as Guy came back from his chore. So Kakashi, what are we going to eat? We do not have much for the 3 of us to eat. All I have is some jerky. Oh, that is simple, I brought something for us. Now where did I put that scroll? Kakashi rummaged through his vest and in his utility pouch for a small scroll. He did not find it in those places. He brought a hand up to his chin and started to tap it, thinking where he put it. Guy was looking at him, thinking he lost it. Now I remember. Guy looked at him while he reached in one of his shoes to pull out a small green scroll. Kakashi unrolled it and it puffed away, leaving a pile of instant ramen packages, 5 bowls, a pot, and a couple chopsticks. A teardrop appeared on the back of Guy's head. Kakashi, this is not food. Don't let Naruto hear that. Kakashi laughed at what he said. Guy started to laugh and helped to make a quick meal. Kakashi got up and went over to Naruto. He looked down at him sleeping away. He hoped that Tsunade and Jiraiya were able to help Naruto and not let the fox escape. He knelt down, placing an elbow on his knee again, and rested his head on his hand. Kakashi, wake him already. Guy said. I know. Kakashi placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder and gently shook him awake. Naruto opened his eyes to see grass in front of him. He shot up, remembering he was in tree when he fell asleep. He looked around and saw Kakashi, Guy, and 3 people tied up to trees with the stone symbol on their head protectors. He looked at Kakashi to explain. Tsunade-sama sent Guy and me to find you. On our way, we found those 3. You must be hungry, come, I made some ramen. He got up and lowered his hand to help Naruto up from the ground. Naruto looked away from him and tried to tell him he was not hungry, but he found he had no voice. He looked back at Kakashi with his eyebrows furrowed. Kakashi just chuckled. It seems you have laryngitis. That is what you get for staying out in the forest and not wearing the right clothes for this time of the year. Come, get by the fire and at least drink some tea. Naruto got up and walked over to the campfire. Guy handed him a cup and he drank it down. He sat there quietly watching the 2 eat their meal. He drew his knees to his chest, resting his head on his knees. He soon felt drowsy. He tried to keep his eyes open, but they refused to obey. He finally gave in to sleep and started to fall towards his right. Guy grabbed him by his shirt and let him fall down slowly to the ground. That is the first, him being quiet and not wanting ramen. Kakashi said, yeah, and he look like hell. He will be fine once we get back to the village and his punishment from Tsunade-sama for worrying her. The 2 got up and cleared away their mess. Guy went to get some more water and to rinse out the dishes they used. Kakashi checked on the 3 stone nins to make sure they were not able to get loose. He finished as Guy came walking back to their camp with a smiling Ibiki and 6 masked Anbu. The light was now fading into dusk. Kakashi, Guy, I see none of you are hurt from your encounter with these 3. So where did you find them exactly? Ibiki asked. We found them here, waiting for us to arrive. I believe they had followed one of my nin dogs to Naruto's location, which was up in a tree. I guess they thought to get us with a surprise attack. We happened on their trail as we made our way to Naruto. I used 2 shadow clones to form our own surprise attack. As you see, we have them captured. They are yours now. I see. How is Naruto? Slight fever and he has not eaten in the past few days. We move out first thing in the morning. You 6 will be handling watch detail, pair up with someone. Ibiki told his subordinates. Each Anbu gave their reply and grouped together to figure what times they would do their watch. Ibiki walked over to the campfire and sat down next Guy and Kakashi. Sasuke awakened 3 hours after you left. Tsunade-sama was examining him before he woke. She had found where the curse seal was. It is gone and in its place was a 3rd-degree burn, about the size of Naruto's hand. Guy and Kakashi blinked at this news. How was he when he woke up? Kakashi asked, shocked. He was asking where he was and what happened to Naruto. Tsunade-sama questioned him about his actions and found he only remembered bits and pieces. He explained to her that it was as if he was in a fog. The last thing he remembered was seeing Naruto in front of him with red chakra surrounding around him, that he looked like a fox. Also, that Naruto's eyes were not blue, but red, and that they were slit. His canine teeth were elongated and his nails looked like claws. The whisker marks on his face were thicker. He saw that he was crying, but really, what shocked him was that he was using the Chidori against him and his arm was impaled through his right shoulder. After that, he only remembers being thrown back by Naruto's attack and watching Naruto fly into the lake, which Sasuke blacked out. Tsunade-sama believes it was the seal that was affecting Sasuke's mind. The seal was trying to take him over, so Orochimaru had better chances of having him. From what I know, it was more powerful than Anko's. So the seal has been affecting him this whole time. Kakashi asked. Yes, but where does that leave us with Fox Boy? Ibiki asked. In the hands to 2 of the 3 legendary Sennin, the possibilities are endless or it will be a dead end. Guy said. I wish you did not put it that way, Guy. Kakashi said. Sorry, Kakashi. Ibiki, why are you worried about Naruto? Easy. I see him as Naruto, the son of our hero, and not as the demon. I just do not see why we cannot tell him who his father was. For his father made many enemies, which would do anything to get revenge on the son. It is the same way with me. We both are the sons of two of the greatest heroes of Konoha. The third also thought it was a good ideal he did not know, for he may have blurted it out during a fight to throw off his enemies. I say we get some sleep. It will be a long walk back to Konoha. Kakashi said. They all agreed and found places to sleep. Kakashi could not find sleep right away. He was too worried about Naruto. Naruto, I am sorry for just placing all of my attention on Sasuke. I only thought it would make him more open, to see that there were people who cared for him. I messed up. I should have been teaching all of you at the same time to keep you as a group. Hell, I should have taken care of you when you were little, but with the recent death of your father on my mind and the death of my friend Obito coming back to the surface, I looked to another outlet of my anger and sadness. I took mission after mission to escape the pain. I only became your teacher when the third forced it upon me. I was blind to see that you were truly alone with only few people who saw you as you. I will make it up to you. I will ask or even demand that Tsunade and Jiraiya to allow the truth to be told, and I will teach you from now on, the why I should have. Kakashi looked to Naruto, across the campfire. He saw him sleeping away with a peaceful expression. Kakashi smiled, knowing Naruto will be happy to be taught. He closed his eye and found sleep. Naruto and Foxes are on the minds of the Rookie 9 and Guy's team after Sasuke tells what happened during his and Naruto's battle. They also have a newfound fear for their Hokage. Next day, Sakura was walking to the hospital to see if she could visit with Sasuke and hoped to find Kakashi to talk with him. She wanted to know what happened to Naruto after he took off 4 days ago. She had seen him walking down the street towards her, but she was on the other side. She wanted to talk to him, but stopped, when she heard some of the adults around her, muttering hatefully. She stepped back from them and went behind them so they would not see her. She listened to what they said and was shocked by what she heard. I can't believe that he was allowed to live, he should have been killed, one said. I know what you mean. He is a demon and he is allowed to walk around like he is one of us, two said. Why must we put up with him? If it was not for him, the Uchiha kid would not had tried to run off, three said. I felt sorry for the girl on their team. Having to put up with his stuff, one said. Sakura was angry from what she heard. As she brought her head up, to start yelling at them, she glanced at the other people gathered in the streets. She was shocked to see the same hatefulness in their eyes which was aimed at Naruto. She looked at Naruto, as he was walking past from her point. She saw he had a small smile on his face. She thought he was dense to not notice the disgusted looks. He walked on, till all she saw was his back. She decided to go talk to him. Before she could, a man to Naruto's right sent a punch to his face. Naruto caught it and she was shocked. Sakura watched it went bad to worse as many of the villagers started to gather around him, calling him names and that he should not even had existed. Then many of the villagers started to throw stuff at him from garbage to actual weapons. She saw as a kunai sink deep into the back of his right leg and 3 shuriken into his back. She was too scared to do anything. She watched as 2 Anbu came out of nowhere and protected him. She heard the villagers start yelling at the 2 for protecting the demon. Naruto took this distraction and jumped to a roof of a building and ran off. She was about to go after him, when she heard some of the villagers yelling at the others. Some were saying that if it was not for him, they would all be dead. It nearly became a full-out fight between the 2 sides until the Hokage appeared, yelling at them. Sakura watched as everyone cowered from her words. She felt small as the Hokage spoke. She found herself remembering that she did not thank Naruto for saving her from Gaara, bringing back Sasuke, and many other things he did for her. She left and did not hear the rest of what the Hokage said to the villagers. She ran home, went to her room and broke down crying. Sakura just entered into the hospital and walked up to the reception desk. She opened her mouth to ask if she could see Sasuke when the nurse spoke to her without looking up. I am sorry, but you still cannot see Sasuke, for he is still unconscious. Which is a lie, but Tsunade wanted no one to see him yet to make sure he had not be lying to her. Oh. Is all she said. She turned to leave when she saw Tsunade walking towards the entrance of the hospital. She quickly walked over to her. Hokage-sama. Tsunade turned around and saw Sakura walking towards her. Sakura, I know you want to see Sasuke, but he needs his rest. That is okay, Hokage-sama, but that was not what I wanted to ask you about. Have you seen Naruto? I have not seen him since 4 days ago when he was. You don't have to say it, I know what happened. I know I saw you there. I went to his apartment yesterday to talk to him and I found it was empty and many of his windows were broken. Where is he? He is with Kakashi at the moment. He should be back sometime today. Why were the villagers acting like that towards him and why would they hurt him? Sakura started to cry, the images playing back through her mind. I just cannot tell you the reason behind it, expect that they do not see Naruto as Naruto, but as something else. I have to go, I need to check on a few patients. Tsunade left Sakura behind, walking down the halls of the hospital. Sakura left, feeling confused with the answer she received. She was about to leave the hospital when she bumped into Ino. Hey forehead girl, watch where you are going. Ino pig, watch it, I am not in a good mood. What? You could not get to see you traitor boyfriend? He is not a traitor Ino, he is just not himself. Sakura said with a sad tone. You're right, look what he did, he put 5, 6 if you include Akamaru into the hospital. Ino growled out, I know what he did, but he has not been acting like himself for a long time. I am not here to argue. Have you seen Naruto? No, I have not. What do you want with him? To tell him off for hurting your boyfriend? No, I want to know what happened to him after the villagers attacked him. Sakura said, you heard about that? No, I saw it with my own eyes. The look the villagers gave him, it was pure disgust. You saw what happened. I have to know what happened, but let's talk about this with the others, I think they may want to know what happened. Sakura nodded and followed Ino up the stairs to one of the rooms. Their argument over Sasuke for the moment, forgotten. They entered into one of the rooms and found Shikamaru sitting in a chair by the bed Choji was in. Kiba was in a bed left of Choji and Akamaru was sleeping at the foot of his bed. Shino was leaning against the wall while Hinata was sitting in a chair by Kiba, petting on Akamaru. Neji was on the left of Kiba and Tenten was also sitting in a chair by Neji with Lee sitting on the floor with his back resting against the bed. Everyone was talking as a group, but went quiet as Ino and Sakura entered. Lee was the first to break the silence. Hello Ino-san, Sakura-chan. Lee, can you be a bit more quiet, we are in the hospital. Tenten said. Sorry Tenten, I will try. Have any of you heard of what happened to Naruto? Ino asked. Many of them nodded or said they had heard. Sakura saw what happened. She said. You did, what caused them to attack him? Kiba asked. Everyone was wide-eyed. Sakura nodded and started her story of what happened to him, what she saw at his apartment and that he was with Kakashi. When she was finished, everyone was silent. Do you know where he is now? Hinata asked. No, but I asked Tsunade-sama and that is why I know he was with Kakashi, but she gave me a weird answer of why the villagers attacked him. What was it? Neji asked. That she could not tell me the reason behind it. I do not understand. I was also told he was to come back later today. I hope he is okay. Hey, why don't we throw a party or something? I believe his birthday is soon, but I forgot what day it was. We could do that or a get-together. Lee said. A birthday party would be a great ideal. I don't know if he had one, but that could cheer him up, but who would know when Naruto's birthday is? Sakura asked. Wouldn't Iruka-sensei know? Choji asked. I will go ask him. When will you 3 be out? Sakura asked. We will be out in 3 days. Kiba said. Good, we can start planning the party. Let's make it into a surprise party. Ino said. Each was about to add their own thought to the party when the door to the room opened. Tsunade walked in with 2 nurses following her and a third pushing a wheelchair with Sasuke in it. Each person gave a different look towards Sasuke from confusion, surprise to anger. Sasuke seeing their faces looked down. Strange to find all of you here, but that saves me the trouble looking for all of you. Place him in the bed across from Choji. The room they are in has 6 beds with room for 2 more. Everyone looked at the Hokage wanting answers. Sakura did not move from her spot. She was afraid Ino would start yelling at her. Tsunade took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Sasuke has been freed from all of his charges, for it was not all his own fault. I believe only Sakura knew the truth that a type of control seal was placed on Sasuke by Orochimaru during the second test of the Chunin exam. The seal affected Sasuke to the point that he ran away to Orochimaru. It was in a way a mind-altering seal. The seal was too strong to seal it off, but now that it is gone, he is back to normal. I brought him in here, for he wanted to talk to you. I will be back in an hour, and Lee, Kiba, try and keep your voices down. Yes ma'am. Both Kiba and Lee said. She turned to leave when Ino stopped her. Hokage-sama, do you know when Naruto's birthday is? We plan on throwing him a surprise birthday party. I see. I do not think it will be a good idea to throw him a birthday party. His birthday falls on a day that is not celebrated, but mourned, but a party sounds good to do. Let me know if you need any help. She left the room, closing the door behind her. After a few minutes, the three nurses left the room. It was quiet for a few minutes when Hinata spoke up. What does she mean by that? On a day that is mourned? I don't get it either. Kiba said, running his hands through his hair. I do. Everyone looked up to Shikamaru, wanting to know. What happened close to 13 years ago? Everyone blinked, for they all know what he meant. The Kyuubi no Kitsune attacking Leaf and being defeated by the fourth. Shino said. That means that he was born on that day. Kiba somewhat yelled. Everyone was quiet again. But we celebrate the defeat of the Kyuubi. Sakura said. If it is not good, then you would have to throw it after that day. Everyone turned to Sasuke, which they forgot about him. Shut up, you traitor. We don't need your opinion. Kiba yelled. Kiba, shut up. Did you not hear what the Hokage said? He was affected by a seal that was placed on him. Ino said. Who cares? He had stuff practically given to him and people flock over him even after his family was killed. He walks around with a cool aura around him, thinking he is a big ninja, the strongest one around. Nobody is worth my time. You two, pointing at Sakura and Ino, go wide-eyed over him, and he returns it with his stuck-up personality. He throws all of that away for what? He is a coward, a nobody in my book. Kiba, shut up before I make you. Ino said. Well, it's true. Shut it, Kiba. He is right. I am a coward, a traitor. Sasuke said. Sasuke, you are none of those things. It just. Sakura tried to say. No, Sakura, I am. I pushed everyone away, believing I didn't need anyone. I gave into the seal and it took my hate, my anger, and magnified it to where I only wanted to become stronger to kill my brother. My jealousness of Naruto's power grew also, seeing him more powerful than me. When he saved Sakura from Gaara, he was a lot stronger than I remembered. He even summoned a giant frog and changed it into a fox and fought against that thing that Gaara transformed into. Before we reached the tower, we were attacked by a grass nin who pinned us down by just using his bloodlust, showing us our death. Naruto showed up and attacked him, but he was different, and it scared even me. Come to find out, it was Orochimaru in disguise. Naruto was tossed aside like he was nothing. After we recovered from our encounter with the snake Sennin, we were pinned down by some rain nin and he used his doppelganger technique. He made them appear as Sakura, me, and that Kabuto guy, and he fought their water clones all night. When I was about to defeat them, he had gotten back up and defeated them. He should have been drained, but I heard he fought strong in the preliminary matches. I do not call that a win. Kiba said, crossing his arms. Everyone tried to suppress a smile, even Sasuke. Kiba snorted at them. He upped me again when I learned he went with one of the legendary Sennin to get Tsunade-sama to become Hokage, but that was not the reason I went after him. I had heard my brother was in the village and he was looking for Naruto. I took off after them, only to be defeated by my brother using one of my clan techniques on me, causing me to relive the murder of my family. Everyone trembled at what he said and kept quiet for him to finish. Naruto came to visit me when the Hokage cured me from my nightmare, and by then I had almost given into the power of the seal. I challenged Naruto to a fight, but we were stopped by Kakashi and that Sennin. He used an attack I never seen before, and as I left, I saw the damage he done to one of the water towers. From where he hit it, it was the size of his hand, but the back was a different story. The hole in the back looked like something exploded out of it. Kakashi asked the Sennin why he taught Naruto that move. After that, I just lost myself and gave into the seal and left. He used the same attack on me as I used the Chidori on him, but he held back and moved his attack and hit me on the seal. I felt my skin twist and his red chakra burned me. I believe he did not do it to break the seal, but not to hurt me. I woke up wondering where I was. I felt intense pain, greater than when the seal was placed on me. I looked to where the pain was coming from and my vision started to clear. I followed it to Naruto, in front of me, but it did not look like him. Flashbacks started to come to me. Me telling him that he was my friend and saying that is why I must kill him, beating him up to where he could not move and drawing an enormous power from nowhere. It surrounded him and it was red. His chakra took on the shape of a fox and that is not where it stopped. His nails on his feet and hands became claw-like. His canines elongated and when I had woken up, I had seen his eyes. They were not blue, but crimson red with slits and he was crying. I was terrified, but I became more afraid when I saw where I had hit him with the Chidori, through the right side of his chest. It all happened so fast, but it felt like an entirety. We were forced back by each of our attacks and I watched him land into the lake and I blacked out. You said his chakra surrounded him like a fox. During my fight with him, after sealing all of his Tenketsu points he called that same red chakra forth. I had my Byakugan activated and saw his chakra come from his stomach. It followed a swirl pattern before it went through his body. It leaked out, but it was not seen by anyone else. What I saw of his chakra, it formed a fox head above him. I do not get the swirl on his stomach, for no one else possees it. Neji said, I felt that power before, when we were in the Wave Country on our first C-rank mission which turned into an A-rank mission. I thought it was Sasuke. In the stands during your fight with Naruto, I saw many people pale and they looked scared. I happened to look towards the third and he had a surprised look on his face. After the fight, he was still moving around, jumping for joy he had beating you Neji. I did not know what to make of his strength. Sakura said. Everyone was quiet as they thought over what was said. Sasuke began again. I awoke and found a very angry Hokage beside me. I looked around and saw I was in the hospital, in a room with no windows. My legs and arms felt heavy and she spoke with venom in her voice telling me where I was and that all my limbs and 3 ribs were broken and that I had been out for a week. I also felt pain on my shoulder where the seal was. It all came back to me and I asked her where he was. She was still angry with me and told me he was already out of the hospital. I asked how he could have, but she did not answer me. I had looked behind her and saw some of the guards were scared and I did not know, until she spoke up and they jumped. She made me explain what happened to me since the seal was placed on. She checked it and found it was gone. She also found that my chakra coils had been messed up by the seal and she concluded that the seal was affecting my mind as well. She moved me to another room and then here. I have been awake for at least a day. She ended up telling me the reason behind Orochimaru placing the seal on me was that he wanted my bloodline and my body. When Sasuke finished his tale, everyone was shocked. Every eye was on him. It was so quiet that they heard Hinata's question. What do you mean why your body? I was told by the Hokage that he had perfected some type of technique that allows him to take over, or posses someone's body, driving the owner out, in a way a death for them. He does this every 3 years, and I was his next choice. If it was not for Naruto, I would have been in his hands. I am amazed at him. He forgave me for running off and almost killing him. He still sees me as his friend, no a brother. I do not know how I can be when I almost took it away. I do not know how to forgive myself. Easy, by being there for him and becoming his friend. He will be happy. An unknown voice said. Everyone jumped at the person's voice. They all turned their attention to the door to see a man in red robes with long white spiky hair and a forehead plate with 2 small horns and with the kanji for oil. 2 strips of red ran down his face, fading under his chin. Who are you? Asked Lee. I am one of the legendary 3, the frog sage, Jiraiya, sensei of the 4th Hokage, Yondaime, and current sensei of Crack. Sound effect for you. Jiraiya I had already told 2 in here to be quiet, now why must I tell you? Everyone's jaw dropped as they looked at the man who was knocked to the floor. They looked back up at their Hokage, to see she had her fist raised in the air, with an angry look on her face. They watched as she used her foot to flip the frog Sennin onto his back and gave him a cold stare. Where have you been? I had 6 squads of Anbu looking for you. I wasted precious time and resources for your sorry. Your student needs you now. Now get up, off the floor and get to my office now. I need to talk to you now. She turned around and Jiraiya got up, dusted himself off. All right, Oba-chan. Everyone froze in the room as they felt killer intent from the Hokage. I am sorry, Tsunade. He was not able to finish his apology as a fist connected with his jaw, which sent him flying through the room and out a window, which luckily had been open. Get him, and bring him to my office now. She ordered to one of the Anbu by her. Jiraiya, remember, no one calls me that and gets away with it. She yelled towards the window. She turned her attention back on the occupants in the room. Remember that visiting hours are over at 7, but I can let you all stay. I will let the head nurse know that this might happen, so she will check on you before then to see who wants to stay so she can get some extra blankets, pillows, and supper. Make sure you contact your parents if you do. She turned on her heels and left their view. The Anbu guard walked into their room and looked out the window. It happened to be a 3-story drop. They saw that he shook his head, before jumping out the window to the unconscious Sennin. A person came walking in and was relieved that nothing was broken. What was that all about? Ino asked. I do not know, but I had heard about the Hokage's strength, but now I am truly afraid of her. Kiba said. Troublesome. Was all Shikamaru had to say, trying to recover himself. How can she go from one mood to the next like that? I never want to be on the receiving end of her punch. She is the one that cured me of my injuries. How? Lee asked. The person chuckled at them while checking on each of the injured person in the room. What is so funny? Sakura asked. You have yet to see her angry. From what I had learned, never get on her bad side. I have yet to and never plan on. The only person I know who could stand up against her is Naruto, and he is the one who calls her Oba-chan and he gets away with it. For anyone else, you saw what happened to Jiraiya-sama. Why would he call her that? She must be 25 or younger. Kiba asked. The nurse walked outside and looked around the hall. She came back in and closed the door behind her. What you hear from me will never leave your lips. She is using illusion to hide her true age. She is actually 50. I must be going. I have to heal some of Jiraiya-sama's wounds. I will see you later. Wait a minute, I remember you. You were with Naruto and her and that man when I meet up with him. He told me about her true age. Shikamaru said. Yes, I was with them. I am the Hokage's assassinate and she is training me in all of her healing techniques. I must go. See you later. My name is Shizune. Shizune left the room and everyone was yet surprised again. I think I am going to go home. This day had been too troublesome for me. Sasuke, I am glad you are you again. Choji, try and not eat too much and have to stay in the hospital longer for overeating. Shikamaru said. Each uninjured person said goodbyes, feeling the same as Shikamaru. Ino asked that they meet up tomorrow to plan the party. The 4 left, settling down to sleep even though it was way too early. Choji looked at the bag of chips he had opened before all of this started. He closed them and placed them on the nightstand by his bed. Naruto and Foxes were on all their minds. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kakashi have an encounter with Kyuubi, and the Rookie 9 and Guy's team have questions for their Hokage that they want answers for. Caution, a time warp is taking place. Same day as the end of Chapter 3, but just after sunrise. Location. In the forest with Naruto. The sun was just barely rising. Ibiki, Guy, Kakashi and the 6 Anbu were getting ready to leave. Kakashi was making some breakfast from the items that Ibiki brought. Naruto was awake and watched as everyone prepared to leave. Once the meal was ready, everyone helped themselves. Kakashi brought a bowl to Naruto and offered it to him. Naruto looked at it and found it was oatmeal. I know it is not ramen. You need to eat to get your strength back. Naruto looked back down at the bowl and took it from Kakashi. He brought a spoonful to his mouth and looked at it. Kakashi smiled at him and Naruto took a bit of it and swallowed it. He ate slowly and could not eat more than half of the contents in the bowl. When we get back to Konoha, I will treat you to a bowl of ramen, okay? Naruto nodded and waited for the rest to finish their meal. It did not take long and they were on their way to Konoha with their prisoners in the front. Naruto, Ibiki, Guy, and Kakashi brought up the rear. After an hour of walking, Guy fell in step with Kakashi. He does not look any better than last night. I know I can hardly wait to get back to Konoha for Tsunade to look at him. I hope they found Jiraiya. Guy nodded and went back to his part of the line. Few minutes later, Naruto tipped on a root of a tree and fell flat on his stomach. Ibiki helped him up, which he quickly brought him to the side of trail they were on, as he emptied the contents of his stomach. He sat Naruto down when he calmed down. Ibiki leaned up against the tree, waiting for Kakashi to catch up. He caught up and looked to Ibiki. What happened? Your student puking up his gut. I am just waiting for my turn to do so. Come on, my cooking is not that bad, is it? Kakashi asked. Kakashi knelt down to Naruto, who was leaning against a tree. He placed his hand on his forehead and found his temperature was up. He sighed and placed his hands underneath Naruto's armpits and picked him up. He slowly swung him on his back and held tight on his legs. They resumed their walk with a sleeping Naruto. As they walked, one of the prisons kept looking behind him, towards Kakashi. Ibiki got tired of it and hit the man on the head. The man snarled back and yelled at them. That is the Yellow Flash's son, isn't? He looks like him. Son of the bastard. He did not finish, for he was hit in the stomach by Ibiki. The man crumpled to the floor, unable to grip at his gut, for his arms were tied behind his back. You will not talk about the fourth like that. I should kill you now, but I do not think the Hokage will like that, but I will have the pleasure later on after I get to know you better. The man paled as each word was spoke. Killer intent radiated off Ibiki, making the prisoners more afraid of him and the Anbu Jumpy. The man became more frightened to the point he lost control of his bladder. Ibiki kicked him in his rear and ordered him to get up. Naruto curled tighter behind Kakashi and relaxed once Ibiki calmed down. They resumed their walk and did not get back to the village till 4 in the afternoon. Kakashi and Guy separated from Ibiki as the group came near the hospital and the administration building. As Kakashi and Guy walked towards the hospital, they saw Sakura, Tenten, Ino, Shino, Lee, Shikamaru, and Hinata walking out of the hospital. They saw Kakashi and Guy walking towards them and they walked up to them. Sakura saw that Kakashi was carrying Naruto. What happened to him, Kakashi-sensei? She asked. Food poisoning. He said with a smile. How? It was Guy's cooking. It was not me, you liar. It was your cooking that gave him food poisoning. I am amazed I had not yet emptied my own stomach from it. Did you say something? Kakashi said with his smile. Everyone's sweat dropped, while Guy slumped down, bowing his head from view. Sakura, have you seen the Hokage? We did, and we experienced her reputation first-hand or fist. Oh, that would mean that either that Jiraiya was found or he showed up out of nowhere. Where is she now? In her office is what we heard her saying. Good. Guy, why don't you go tell her we are here and Naruto is at the hospital? Okay, Kakashi. Guy disappeared. Kakashi smiled to the group and walked to the entrance of the hospital. Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke is in the room with Neji and the others. Tsunade-sama said it was the seal that was affecting him and he had been cleared of his actions. He is taking it hard and he told us the fight between him and Naruto. Do not worry, it will take time for things to get back to normal. Once it does, we will have our group meetings, for we will be preparing for the next Chunin exam, and do not think I will go easy on all of you. I will see you later. I do not think the Hokage will be happy if I do not get Naruto checked in. Kakashi-sensei, what was the technique he used that day on the roof of the hospital and on our assignment in the Spring Country? What was it? Sakura asked. Kakashi looked at them with a large smile. It is called the Rasengan, a technique created by the fourth which took him 3 years to perfect. It took a week for Naruto to somewhat fully master it after learning the basics to it. I will see you. He walked into the hospital, still with the smile on his face and the shocked expression on the group's face fresh on his mind. They came out of their stupor and left for their home. Kakashi walked in and found a doctor to look after Naruto till Tsunade arrive. He rubbed the back of his neck, his smile disappearing. He took a deep breath and followed the doctor, knowing the Hokage might want to see him. Foxed. In the Hokage's office, she was going through every sealing technique she could find. Jiraiya was helping by going over Yondaimi's notes. They were not getting anywhere when Guy came in. Hokage-sama, we are back. Where are Naruto and Kakashi? She asked. He took Naruto to the hospital. He was not feeling well. She disappeared closely followed by Jiraiya. Guy took off for home. The Hokage appeared outside the door Naruto was in. She entered and found Kakashi sitting in a chair by the bed. She saw that Naruto was hooked up to an IV line. She looked at Kakashi. The doctor said he was dehydrated. I do not know if he ate before we found him, but he refused to eat the night we found him. I even made ramen. This morning he ate, but it was not an hour later he threw it up. We did not stop for lunch knowing he may not hold anything. He mostly slept all the way home. Tsunade pushed Naruto's bangs away from his face. She smiled, but it did not stay long. We have been searching through all types of sealing techniques we could find. Jiraiya looked through Yondaimi's notes on the sealing technique he used to seal away the Kyuubi. We had found nothing that could help us expect the Gogyo Fuin, but it will have side effects. Jiraiya told me the same seal was placed on Naruto during the exam and it messed up his chakra control. Another is placing another seal on the broken one which may close off the Kyuubi's chakra from Naruto, for good. Either way it is going to affect him. I see, but if it is true that the Kyuubi will escape from Naruto, could we just take him as far away as we can and allow it to happen and hope the fox will leave, but it could kill him in the process. Then from what I know, if it must come to it, is to kill the Kyuubi by killing. I know, we came up with those two possibilities also which I do not like. We decided to do the Gogyo Fuin, for we still have time before the seal is completely gone. When will you do it? When that idiot gets here. I want to stay if you do not mind. He asked. I do not see why not. I will be right back to retrieve that pervert. He was right behind me. C left and Kakashi made himself more comfortable. He watched Naruto sleep during his wait. Foxed. Inside Naruto's mind, he was asleep with the Kyuubi curled around him. It had been preparing Naruto for the past 2 days knowing that he was making the boy sick. It laughed slightly when it saw Naruto refusing ramen. It was hoping that it was not making a mistake, for it does not know any side effects that will occur, but only sees it as a compensation for what it had done and it still blames itself for what happened. It looked to Naruto with a grin. It took one of its tails and brushed it across the right upper arm of Naruto. An orange light was seen glowing from underneath his sleeve. As the light died down, a 9-line spiral was seen. I am sorry, Kit. I do not know what side effects that will happen to you. I believe you wish I would not leave you. I believe it will be good to leave. I hope you like the gifts I leave you. Take care, Kit, and try and stay out of trouble. Outside, Tsunade returned with Jiraiya. She pointed to Naruto and had a mad look on her face. He quickly moved away from her and walked to Naruto. He glanced at Kakashi and gave a small smile. He looked down at Naruto sleeping away. He pulled back the covers and motioned for Kakashi to help him take off Naruto's shirt. I do not think this is a normal sickness, but I hope this seal will work. Tsunade said. They pulled off his shirt and Tsunade gasped when she saw the 9-line swirl on Naruto's upper arm. She raced over and grabbed his arm to examine it. Jiraiya and Kakashi stood with worried expressions on their faces. Jiraiya quickly placed his left hand on Naruto's stomach and pushed chakra into, to make the seal visible. It did not come up at all. What is going on? That seal is one of the strongest ones around, and how is it completely gone now? We should still see parts of the seal. If the seal is gone, then why has the Kyuubi not escaped from Naruto? Tsunade asked. I do not know, but I will do the seal now. I still remember how it was placed on him. I hope this works. Jiraiya summoned his chakra to his right hand and brought down his hand to Naruto, but he was stopped. His hand was a few inches from Naruto's stomach, was surrounded by red miasma up to his elbow. He tried to pull back, but the miasma was too strong. Tsunade tried to help him free him, but her feet were surrounded by the miasma, along with her hands. Kakashi found himself captured by the miasma as he was about to call out for help. The miasma surrounded his mouth, making him unable to speak. Everyone froze, not wanting reason for the miasma to attack them further. As they waited, they were wondering why the chakra, as they figured it out, did not feel like it did 13 years ago and why no one came. Their answer was given to them as the red chakra formed itself above Naruto. Its height was 3 foot at the shoulder. It sat down by Naruto with its 9 tails up in the air, with the ends curling behind them. Wisps of the chakra were swirling in the air, disappearing. It looked like a flame that was alive. Your first answer behind the seal being broken, I sent too much of my own chakra to aid the kit. It cracked under the pressure of my power. I started to break down the rest of the seal to aid what I will be doing shortly, and no, I will not be taking revenge on your village. The reason I have not escaped is I would not have any body to return to. My soul would be taken away to our realm and I would had to wait for who knows how long for me to gain my body back, but I would not have been able to either. My soul and the kit's soul have been mixing together since the sealing. A side effect, I do not know, or since he truly did not have one as of yet. I became half of his as he grew. I finally chose to allow our chakra sources to merge and I would be gone, but he would still be him. A bit of truth to you three, I did not attack the village willing. There was no summoning contract with the foxes. I was summoned and I refused what the person ordered me to do and I was about to leave when he placed a control jutsu on me, which caused me turn into a rage of destruction. After your fourth sealed me away, the jutsu was lifted. I stayed mad at myself for the past years when I should have been helping the kid out. I will be leaving him with some gifts, but it will come at a price of great pain. Each gift will be locked. He does not know I am doing this. The symbol on his arm will allow him to summon a two-tail fox. It is locked and he will only be able to summon a two-tail till the lock is removed. When you have him summon a fox, tell what became of me and what I did. Allow the two-tail to return and wait 3 days before summoning the fox again. They will teach him, I am for sure. I do not know what side effects that will occur, but I know of one. You think he was hyper now, wait until the process is complete and he had a few days of rest. I know he is the son of the one who sealed me. I hope in the near future you can tell him who his father was, but I understand it is not wise to do so. Maybe when peace has come. It looked to Jiraiya. You should teach him his father's specialties. He will like that, but I can see him pulling off pranks with them. I guess another side effect. If I might ask that if you go off doing any of your research, I truly hope Tsunade-sama beats you to a pulp. You can do your research at a later time after you teach him. Also teach him more than fighting styles and other ninja stuff. It looked at Kakashi. I had heard what you promised to do for the kit. I do hope you keep it, but be prepared, you will find that he is a fast learner. It only took him one night to learn the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Make sure you get him to fully understand each item you teach him. Teach him a broad range of different elements. It looked at the three of them for the last time. It tilted its head and foxed grin at them. I guess I just sound like a mother hen fretting over her chicks. It chuckled at what it said. I will be leaving now and the process of my gifts will start. Tell him I am sorry, but he should like his gifts. Oh, Frog Hermit, don't go throwing him over any cliffs anytime soon. I did not like you putting his life in danger just for him to call forth a summon. His chakra was erratic after you removed the seal that Snake Freak placed on him. He went a few days without my chakra mixing with his. His body was trying to get used to it again and he still had lousy control over his chakra, but it came to him in times of need. See you. They watched as the image of the fox disappeared in the air. Their bonds were removed and they were able to move again. Shizune came walking in with fresh clothes for Naruto. She saw that the three adults looked pale. What happened? Tsunade jumped when she heard her voce. She looked to Shizune. We were wrong about the Kyuubi. What do you mean? She asked. Tsunade walked to the chair by the bed as Naruto started to curl into a ball. His face was contorted in pain as the process started. She sat down and placed a hand on his bare back and rubbed it. Without looking behind her, she spoke to the group. Jiraiya, go and get one of the nurses and have them get me some of the strongest pain killers we have and bring in a replacement for the IV bag. Jiraiya left quickly. Kakashi, can you inform Shizune of what happened, but tell her in my office. Shizune, I need you to bring some blank scrolls and writing instruments from my office and a lap board when he is finished. Kakashi placed a hand on her shoulder and transported them to her office as Jiraiya came back with the nurse. Tsunade-sama, this is the strongest we have. A nurse said. She handed her a vial of clear liquid and a syringe. How much do we have of it? A small case, 10 altogether. Bring me the rest of them and a set of syringes. Yes, ma'am. Tsunade changed the IV bag and drew some of the painkiller medicine into the syringe. She took an alcohol pad and wiped down an area on Naruto's hip. She injected the contents of the syringe. She disposed of the syringe and looked back at Naruto. She was happy as the medicine started to work. Why do you think that no one came running in when the fox emerged to speak with us? Jiraiya asked. I do not know, but I think it was using one of its abilities. A type of mind link, which we were the only ones able to fell the chakra of the fox. It made us see an illusion that we believed the fox was there. With us not being able to move and thinking that the chakra was acutely forcing us to sort of freeze, was it power to take over our minds? That is what I am thinking. I believe you are right. I hope he will be okay. Now we got to deal with an even more hyper brat with new abilities. He said, smiling at Tsunade. Yes, and I will do as the fox said. You are to put your research on hold when you train Naruto. You will not abandon him with only giving him instruction on how to do something and just leave him to figure it out on his own. And why did you throw him over the cliff? Are you mad or something? It is not my fault. I grew tired of him only summon tadpoles. I forced him into a corner to get him to use his chakra and the foxes. I truly did not know that the seal placed by Orochimaru messed him up that bad. Well, do not do it again or I will truly hurt you. After their fight, the two watched Naruto in quiet. Jiraiya found the only way to pass the time was to work on his books. Tsunade did not like it, but allowed it. After an hour, Shizune and Kakashi came back to the room. Kakashi was stuck carrying a bag full of scrolls. Shizune handed over the lap board and a blank scroll to Tsunade. She began writing the events that happened. It was a long night which Shizune and Tsunade worked on reports while Jiraiya slept and Kakashi went over what to teach Naruto and his teammates. Tsunade-sama, what did you do to the villagers that attacked Naruto? Kakashi asked. I could not do much without breaking the third's law. I talked to some who started to fight and they are still hateful to Naruto. I will find a way to change their minds. What did you do with Naruto's stuff? I heard of his apartment being trashed. Jiraiya asked. What was salvageable? I had taken it. I want Naruto to move in with me in the Hokage home. I am having a room made ready for him. I am also thinking of getting him to change his outfit. He is flashy like his father, but it will still have some orange in it. By the way, where is his necklace and forehead protector? Tsunade said. His items are in the side table drawer. I placed a seal on the drawer so his items are safe. Thank you, Kakashi. For the next 9 days and 8 nights, the same scene played out in Naruto's room. One of the four was always there to keep an eye on him. On the third day, Kakashi went to visit with Sasuke. He entered and found all of the rookie 9 and guys group there. Kakashi-sensei, how is Naruto? Sakura asked. He is doing fine. I heard that 3 of the occupants in this room are leaving today. Yes, and I am glad I am able to. I hate hospitals. Kiba said. Small chuckles went through the room. Kakashi-sensei, why can't we see Naruto? Sakura asked. Tsunade-sama wants him to rest undisturbed. Sasuke, I am glad you are back to your old self before the seal. Me too, I hope I can become better friends with Naruto. Tsunade-sama said I am able to leave the hospital sometime this week. That's good, Sasuke. Sorry, but I only had enough time to see how you were doing. I will let you know when we meet back up. Hold it, sensei. What truly happened to Naruto that caused him to be back in the hospital? I doubt it would have been food poison. I also want to know how he could survive a death blow and be out of the hospital within a week and why the villagers hate him, because it could not be because his pranks. Also his connection with foxes. He even looks like a fox with one of his stupid grins and him having those whiskers-like marks on his face. His chakra during our fight surrounded his body, forming into the shape of a fox and his features changed, including his eyes. What is the deal with it? Sasuke asked, glaring at Kakashi. Everyone agreed with Sasuke, wanting the truth. Kakashi looked at them and his smile vanished. I can't tell you. I will ask you not to dwell on this subject. Do not ask any of the adults your questions, it will just make it harder on Naruto. Keep it among yourselves and do not ask Naruto. I have to go, I have some errands to run for the Hokage. He left everyone dumbfounded and with more questions. It is like they are afraid to tell us, but from what he just said, the connection between Naruto and a fox becomes stronger. Sakura said, I have a question for all of you. Who do you think is or was Naruto's father? Shikamaru asked. We don't know, not even Naruto, because from what we know, his parents were killed during the attack. Ino said, do you think one of his parents brought the Kyuubi here and that is why they don't like him? Ten asked. No, I was not going that way. I believe I know who Naruto's father was. Who else has blonde spiky hair and blue eyes like him? Everyone thought about it, not coming up with an answer. I was in the Hokage's office yesterday. When I entered to talk to her, she was looking at a picture on the wall. I saw it, but I was not able to study it for long, for she started to talk to me about ideals for the party we plan for Naruto. I listened to her and I glanced down on her desk and I saw many scrolls. I caught a glimpse of a name, Arashi. The name of the Yondaime. After I left, I thought of what I saw of the picture. I never paid any attention to it when I was in her office before. I went home and looked through some old books in my family's study. I found a picture of the Yondaime. I was shocked to say that both he and Naruto looked alike. I was going to ask my parents, but I thought against it. I remembered them always saying to stay away from him, that he was trouble. I also remember the hateful looks they gave him whenever he was around. What are you saying? Ino asked. He reached in his bag and pulled out a book. He opened it to a marked page and passed the book to one in the room. I think the fourth was his father. Why else would he know one of the fourth's technique? Everyone gasped when the realization hit them. From what I know of Naruto, he does not know his parents. What would cause him not knowing about his family? If they kept it a secret from him, they why? Sakura asked. Think about it, the fourth had made many enemies during his actions for Konoha. Who would not like to take revenge on the son of the Yellow Flash? It is the same with your sensei. Shikamaru said. But, that does not answer for the hatred of the villagers to Naruto. Lee said, I believe we should go talk to the Hokage together. I would like the truth of Naruto. We are his friends in one way or another. We have the right to know. Sasuke said, but how will we do that? Won't we need to make an appointment? Choji asked. I do not think so. We just show up and demand that we talk to the Hokage. She will have to see us. I think Monday morning is the best time to do so. It will give us 7 days to plan our visit to the Hokage and the party for Naruto. Neji said. They all agreed and went in planning for Naruto's party and what they would say to the Hokage. Outside the door to the room, Kakashi had been listening in on their conversation. He bowed his head from what he heard. He disappeared and reappeared outside the room Naruto was in. He entered and found Tsunade in the room placing a wet cloth on Naruto's forehead. He looked at Naruto and saw he was only wearing a pair of shorts. His blankets were kicked off and he was curled up in a ball with his back facing the door. How is he? He is okay. He had a fit before you came in. Are there any changes? Yes. His eyes are starting to become silt. It looks like he will have the senses of a fox. If he does, then he will be able to work at night without any aid from night equipment. True. I thought you had errands for me to do. Yes, and I finished them, but I think we will have some trouble in the near future. What do you mean? I went to see Sasuke. He started to ask questions, especially about how Naruto was able to leave the hospital and what about when they fought, why his chakra formed a fox shape around him and he changed. I told them I could not tell them and left. I stayed outside the door and heard their conversation. It seems that Nara Kid came to the conclusion who's Naruto's father was. They plan on visiting you on Monday morning to talk to you as a group. They want answers. I believe I added more fuel to the fire for their desire for answers. Sorry. No, it is okay. They probably would have come to me sooner. It just gives me time to come up with a counter plan against them. I have to go. The village elders want to talk to me about the attack on Naruto. Are you staying? Yes, I don't have anything else to do. I will see you. If he looks cold, cover him up. Okay. She left the room and paused after closing the door. She hated visiting the village elders. She took a deep breath and let it out slowly. She went down the hall and to a flight of stairs. She descended 2 flights and arrived in the reception area of the hospital. When she arrived, she found 10 of Naruto's friends, knowing they really had not been friends with him. She walked up to the nurse on duty at the desk. She smiled hearing Kiba complaining about signing forms to leave the hospital. The group saw her and watched her. The nurse looked up at her and smiled. Is there something you need, Hokage-sama? Yes. Have one of the nurses on their rounds on the 3rd floor replace the IV bag in room 212. Yes, ma'am. I will be in meetings for the rest of the day. I will be back later tonight. Yes, ma'am. Tsunade turned to leave, but was stopped by a small barrier. Is there something you need? She asked, raising one of her eyebrows. Yes, we would like to visit with Naruto. What room is he in? Kiba asked. At the moment you cannot. He was asleep when I left him. If you excuse me, I have a meeting to get to. She walked up to them and placed a hand on Kiba. She slightly squeezed his shoulder, which to him it felt like it was being crushed. She moved him out of her way and left. Kiba rubbed his shoulder. Man, that hurt. Kiba said with a whine in his voice. Let's go, I have things I need to do. We meet back here day after tomorrow as we planned. Ino said. Everyone said their goodbyes and left on their separate ways. Tsunade arrived at her office and waited for the village elders to come. A headache was coming to her. She believed this week will only get worse. Naruto's friends want answers about Naruto, but they are not getting them. A disguise visit to the Hokage to get their answers might work, if they do not find themselves with an angry Hokage. Wednesday, and it was Naruto's 6th day of his ordeal. In the village of Sound, Orochimaru was venting in anger. Kabuto was keeping a safe distance from him. I want to know what happened to Sasuke. He should have been here a week ago. He has yet to show up. I grow tired of this wait. Something must have happened, none of the ones I sent have returned. I want answers now. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. I will get a team prepared to leave. He left, glad to get away from his master. One day, Orochimaru, you will let your guard down and I will take advantage, but I have to be careful. I could be next for you to use as a new body. I am glad your technique can only be performed every 3 years. Once you get Sound in a powerful position, I will make my plans and strike when you least expect it. He smiled as he walked to a small office area with a man sitting at a desk. He talked to him, telling him to get 4 of their nins prepared and sent off to Konoha to spy. He gave the details and left for his own things to do. In Konoha, it was noon time. Sasuke was able to leave the hospital. He still had his right arm in a cast. He was sitting patiently for the nurse to finish bandaging his shoulder. He had refused to have the scarring reduced. He told Tsunade it was a reminder of what he had nearly thrown away, his life and a friendship. He looked at it and saw the scar's placement. The most center of the scar was over the spot the curse seal was. The shape of the scar looked like a hand was placed on his shoulder to show that the person cared for him. He reached up and rubbed the scar. I will not let his sacrifice for me die. I will become a better friend to him and I will open up to the others. When we meet with Kakashi, I will ask him to train as his group and not just me. I did not care in the past that he only taught me, for I just wanted the power to take my revenge on my brother. I now have something else to live for than to be an avenger. I will live for the friends that are around me. I will still collect power, but to protect my friends. I will restore my clan. Yet, if I do come across my brother, I do not know what I will do. I might become the Avenger again, but I might not have to. I might have a friend who will help me without question. He would just jump in and say how stupid I am. I do hope he truly has forgiven me. I am still puzzled over how he can bounce back after an extreme fighter training session. It is like he has a large store of energy. Thinking on this, when we fought Haku, we were both pierced with his Senbon needles. When I saw him after the battle, all of his cuts were gone and it looked like he did not even fight. There is something about Naruto we all do not know and we want to know it. The nurse watched as he rubbed his scar. Is it bothering you, Uchiha-sama? No, it is not. I am just thinking, that is all. Okay, but you know you could have had the scar minimized. I could not believe what that demon did to you. If that happened to me, I would have had the scar removed. I do not see why it should have been allowed to live. What do you mean, it should not have been allowed to live? Why would you call him a demon? He asked, glaring at her, getting angry. She looked at him, becoming afraid. She quickly finished securing the bandages and got up with a bow, leaving the room quickly. He scrunched his eyebrows together, wondering why she said those things about Naruto, and why she left like that. Sakura came in looking puzzled as well. What happened? She asked. I do not know. While she was bandaging my shoulder, she called Naruto a demon and that he should not have been allowed to live. I asked her why and she got frightened and left. She took a deep breath and let it out quickly. We found which room Naruto is in, but there is a problem. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. There is an Anbu placed on guard outside the door. We thought of sneaking in through the window, but we found another Anbu placed on the roof. It is like they are treating him as prisoner. Have you tried asking the guard to visit him? Yes, we had Hinata to ask, but she was told Hokage's orders that he was not allowed to have any visitors. Did you have Neji or Hinata look inside the room to see how Naruto was? Yes, but we think a barrier seal was placed inside the room. They could not look through it. Then she is hiding something. I would like to confront her now, but Monday is a good day to talk to her. The memorial of the Kyuubi attack is Friday. The weekend would be filled with drunks and other stuff which would cause her to have a bad Monday, with reports of fights, vandalism and who know what. We will come in, which we will add to it. It should force her to tell us what they are hiding from us. Do you think that would work? She asked. Yes. She has stress from when she first began being our new Hokage, trying to get Konoha back before the Sound attacked, with that snake freak killing the third. With the memorial coming up, she will be swamped with complaints and the reports once Monday comes. That should work. Are you ready to go? We are to meet up with the others at Ino's place. I think I have a place for the party to take place at. Sasuke said. If you thought of the ramen bar, you are not the first to suggest it. No, but I thought at our training ground. That sounds great, but it will be hard to figure what day to do the party, when we don't know when Naruto is going to be out of the hospital. That is true. We won't know till we confront the Hokage or Kakashi, he said. Sasuke got up and placed his shirt on. His shoulder gave his some problems as small pains came. He ignored it and got his shirt on. They walked out of the room. I think Naruto will be pleased to know he has this many friends. I wonder what his face would look like when we surprise him. Sasuke said. Who knows, but it will be with that fox grin of his. You should have heard what Kiba said. He said that we should break Naruto out of the hospital and hide him. That would be a funny sight. 10 genin and 1 chunin, with many of us come from important households, trying to break out a friend from 2 Anbu. I do not want to face an angry Hokage again. You should have seen Kiba when Shikamaru told him that they would have to face her. He said that they may be placed on personal errands for her if she got angry with you. He has seen it happen. A Junin made a comment about her and she had overheard it. He first got knocked out and then was made running errands for her and being a personal servant for a month. After that, nobody made any comments about her just in case she heard them. Also Shikamaru witnessed to her yelling at a couple Junin. He heard her say that if they ever referred Naruto as a demon they wished they have never had been born. I guess this hate for Naruto is larger than I thought. That could be a reason for Naruto wanting to become Hokage. I hope he is able to realize his dream. They were almost to Ino's home when they saw Kakashi standing next to Shizune in front of a fruit stand. The two ducked into the alleyway to see if they could hear them. They masked their chakra to keep from Kakashi knowing they were there. How much longer do you think it will be, before Naruto wakes up? Kakashi asked. I do not know. I hope it is soon. Tsunade-sama has been very agitated the last few days. The guards and many other people are jumpy around her. I do hope he wakes soon. I am getting a bit sorry for Jiraiya-sama. Every time he tries to cheer her up, he is just knocked out. I do not blame her though. Did you get everything on her list? Yes, and I amazed she bought all that stuff. I think she would have a hard time getting him wearing something besides his orange suits. Oh, I think she will change his mind. It might be willing or write down threaten. It is not bad. It is like she is his older sister and they fight just like siblings, he said. You do not know what it meant for her to have Naruto around. It has cheered her up very much. She does not regret losing the bet with him when he said he could learn the Rasengan in a week. Jiraiya-sama says that he cheated with having to use two of his doppelgangers to help him form it. Well, I am envious of him. I was never able to learn it. It was just not for me. That is why I invented the Chidori, but the Rasengan is more destructive. I seen damage it can cause when he was trying to learn it. Was it true he stole the forbidden scroll of seals? Yes, but he was tricked into it. Yet he was able to learn the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu in one night, but regular shadow clones he was not able to master during his academy days. I think if he had someone to teach him and be there for him, he would not have been such a handful growing up. It was only Iruka and the third who saw who he was and not what others thought of him. That is true, but how was he able to break in the Hokage home and get past the guards? She said, I do not know, but the third said he was defeated by him, by using his made-up technique, the ninja centerfold. Shizune rolled her eyes. Well, he is Konoha's loud, unpredictable ninja. That is also why she is here. It was him who made her decide to become the next Hokage. That is true. I have to go. Tell Jiraiya-sama to be careful around Tsunade-sama. I will. He said. Kakashi turned around and walked away from where Sasuke and Sakura were hiding. They waited till Shizune was gone, before they left their hiding spot. They looked at each other and took off to Ino's. They got there and found everyone waiting for them. Where have you two been? Ino asked as she brought them to back of the flower shop. Spying on Kakashi, and you would not believe what we heard. Sakura said. Tell us. Lee asked. They told what they heard. Many of the listeners were surprised. He beat the third with that stupid move of his. Kiba asked. Yes. Sasuke said. That would explain why she is protective over Naruto. Ten said. They talked a while for where to have the party and what to say to the Hokage. Sasuke gave his ideals for the location. They brought their meeting to a close after an hour. This will be the last time we are all together till Monday morning. When we go in to talk to the Hokage, we will put up a front of us giving our plans for his party. Once done, we will confront her about Naruto. We will keep on persisting until we are told to leave, thrown out, or even taken away by Anbu. Shikamaru said. That is a good plan. Shino said, which surprised some. Ino's mom came walking in and saw all of Ino's friends. It looks like you are all planning something. Yes, we are, mom. We are throwing a party for our friend. She smiled at her daughter. Who is that, honey? Naruto, mom. He has been in the hospital for the last few days and we have not been allowed to visit him. Once he gets, we are going to surprise him. Oh, that is nice, dear. Let me leave you to your planning. Her mom left, but everyone saw the disgusted look on her face before she turned it to a fake one of happiness. Ino glared at her mother as she left the room. Once she was sure her mother was far from the room, she let out a scream. Why does she see Naruto like that? I know he can be annoying and loud, but he does not deserve that. Yeah, my parents are the same way. They say he is a good for nothing. Choji said. Everyone said the same about their parents. I know my parents were the same way, but I want to know why my brother wants him. Sasuke said. If we can get the Hokage to tell us on Monday, we will know all of our answers. I have to go. My mother has chores for me to do. Sakura said. Everyone said their goodbyes and left for their home. They were more determined to get the answers they wanted, even if it would up them being in trouble. Naruto has been in a coma-like state since the Kyuubi started its merging with him. Many will find that their week has gone from bad to worse. Saturday came and it was the 9th day of Naruto's ordeal. It was 6 in the evening and Tsunade already had a headache. She got some of her first reports of fights, drunks, and property damage. She gave up trying to work on the reports and handed them over to Ibiki and Anko to hand out the punishments. It looked like the two were glad to be giving these assignments. She filed that information away when she might need them to do the same for her again. She left her office and walked to the hospital. As she did, she was bombarded by people wanting to talk to her, files needed to be signed, and many more items. She was fed up with it. Shut up. That quiet all that was around her. Some of them started to move away from her range of attack. I have somewhere I am needed. I can take care of this later. She left everyone in a puff of smoke, thinking why she did not do it earlier. She appeared in front of Naruto's room and walked in. She found Kakashi sitting in a chair reading one of his books. Jiraiya was by the bed, leaning over Naruto. Kakashi looked up at her with a smile on his face. He was awake about an hour ago, but it was only for about a few minutes. Shizune went to get something for him to eat. Jiraiya, what are you doing? He was talking in his sleep before you came in. I was trying to see if I can't get him to talk some more. Just leave him alone. I am. It just has not worked anyway. He moved away from Naruto and found a seat next to Kakashi. Shizune came in with a soup for Naruto. Tsunade walked over to Naruto and brushed his bangs from his face. She smiled. Naruto, wake up. Shizune brought you something to eat. Naruto curled tighter in a ball, not wanting to wake up. She shook him by the shoulder and he opened his eyes. She pulled on one of his arms and helped him sit up. He sat there blinking at them. Why am I here? He asked hoarsely. You have been in the hospital for the past few days. You were not feeling well. I will explain everything to you when you get better. Now eat. Tsunade said. Naruto nodded and ate some of the soup. He made faces while eating. Kakashi chuckled. He finished the soup and let out a yawn. Tsunade saw his canines were elongated. He looked down and his eyes went wide. Where is my necklace? He asked worried. Easy Naruto, your headband and necklace are in the table beside you, but I sealed the drawer. Kakashi said. Okay. He said and let out another yawn. Go back to sleep. We will talk later. Tsunade said. He nodded his head and lay back down. It did not take long for him to fall asleep. I hope he does not freak out about his changes. Shizune said. Knowing him he will. Jiraiya said. That is why I will be telling him and not you, but what are we going to say to his friends? He could learn an illusion for his eyes. Tsunade said. Well, you can say that he was in the hospital for an infection from the kunai and shuriken wounds he got. They would believe that. Kakashi said. Yeah, I guess that would work. They did see you bring him in. I will teach him the illusion after he learns what happened to him. I am going home. Don't overindulge in the sake. Jiraiya said. Each said their goodbyes. Shizune was the last to leave, glad Naruto's ordeal was over. Foxed. Sunday morning came and it turned into Sunday afternoon. Naruto was still sleeping and Jiraiya was watching him. He got up and walked over to Naruto and woke him up. Naruto sent a backhand slap towards the senin which he caught it. Brat, watch it, I am going now. The old hag is going to be here this evening. Knowing her, she has a huge hangover. Now sleep as much you can. Naruto nodded and closed his eyes. Jiraiya left, sighing to himself. He teleported himself to the bathhouse, knowing it was too early to do his research. Foxed. At Sakura's home, she was in her room. She was going over the list of supplies she was to get. She put it down and thought of Naruto. She sighed and lay down on her bed. I never did thank him for saving me. I just thought of him as a jerk, as nothing. I really don't know anything about him. We all don't. We all see him different now. We grew up mimicking our parents' dislike for him. We grew up with love and care while he grew up with hate. How can he be so caring for the people around him, when all they gave him was a slap on the face? He just turns the other cheek and keeps on going. How can he take it? What would it be like if he grew up with a family? Would he be the same or would he be different? Why do so many of the villagers call him a monster, a demon, while others call him a hero? I do not see how I could have grown without family now. All that he has done was for recognition. I hope he gets his wish. He changed Neji's hate towards his cousin, Hinata. He changed him so much he is more open. Sasuke, he has done so much for him. He saved him from a situation that would have been worse than death. Now he is so much like himself before his family were killed. I hope he goes back to the Sasuke I remember. The others are still a bit cautious around him. I don't blame them. She got up and walked to her window and looked out. She smiled to herself. When I see Naruto, I will tell him thank you. She was brought out of her thoughts by her mother telling her she had visitors. She came out of her room and walked to the front door. Sakura, I have some errands I need for you to run tomorrow. Sorry mom, I can't. I have to meet up with some of my friends. We have a meeting tomorrow. Do you know what it is about? No, but we are meeting with the Hokage. Who is at the door? It is some of your friends. Thank you. She walked to the door and found Ino there along with Ten Ten and Hinata. What is it? We want to know if you want to go out with us. It is a girl days out. Ino said. Sure, let me tell my mom and grab something. She left and came back a minute later. She closed the door behind her and walked with them. I can't believe I just lied to my mom. She told me she had errands for me to do, but I told her I had a meeting to go to. She believed me. She got wind of the party we plan on doing and I just wanted to scream at her. What did she say? 1010 asked. I heard from Mrs. Yamanaka that you and your friends plan on giving a party to your friend. What was his name? She said that and it disgusted me how she said friend. I know. I overheard my mom talking with my father last night, saying that it was a bad idea in the beginning to allow him to live and now he is friends with me and the others. My father said it was fine that he was friends with me and that she should see him as the hero he was supposed to be. I did not get that part. Ino said. What about you 1010, Hinata? Sakura asked. Nothing. 1010 said. My father has not heard. Hinata said. I was thinking earlier, we grew up mimicking our parents for the hate towards Naruto. If we did not, what would it be like to have been friends with him? Also, what would it be like if he had a family or even someone who was there for him while growing up? Would he have been different or would he have been the same? I think he will like it when we offer our friendship to him. Sakura said. I think he would have been different. He did not start to wear his orange suit till a few years ago and started to play those pranks. He wanted attention. Any type of attention was okay with him. Ino said. Yeah, that is right. Do you think Naruto will tell us if she is not willing to? Sakura asked. He may not. He would have told at least you Sakura or Sasuke. 1010 said. They walked in silence for a while pondering about Naruto. They shopped until before sunset and left for their homes. They all decided it was good to go to bed early, for they might need the rest to confront the Hokage. Foxed. In the hospital, Naruto was asleep still, but his peace was not to last. Pain shot through him and he curled into a ball. He found he could not cry out his pain. He got up and off his bed to head for the door to ask for help. He took one step and fell to the floor. He could not move as he lay on his stomach breathing hard. His vision started to blur. He tried to stay awake, but the pain was too much for him and he lost conscious. His breathing slowed. A few minutes passed and his shape started to change. His nails became claw-like on his hands and feet as they shortened. Fur started to appear on his body. His face started to stretch as his ears grew pointed and changed into fox ears. His nose and mouth elongated to change into a muzzle. His knees bent backwards, becoming the hind legs of a fox. A tail appeared at the base of his back as he changed, ripping through the shorts he was wearing. In a matter of moments he turned into a fox, that stood 2.5 feet at the shoulders and it had yellow fur. It was an hour later that Shizune came walking in. She walked in and closed the door behind her. She turned around with a smile on her face and her eyes closed. Naruto, wake up, Tsunade is going to be here in a few minutes. She heard a grunt and opened her eyes, and saw that Naruto was not in bed and not in the room, but she saw a fox on the floor, which she jumped at the sight of. She did not know what to do or think till she saw it open its eyes. She immediately went down to it, seeing its blue eyes and saw the 9-line swirl on his right shoulder. Naruto, was all she could say as she placed a hand on his back. Naruto looked up at her, seeing her cry. He wondered why. He blinked a couple times. He felt lightheaded. He felt himself lying on his stomach and pulled his hands towards him to push himself up. His arms felt weak as he pushed up. He looked down wondering why he was not able to sit up all the way and if he moved one hand he would fall. His eyes went wide when he saw paws and not his hands. He started to panic as he looked around himself and saw that his shape was a fox. His front legs gave out and he fell to the floor. He lay on the floor with his eyes unblinking. Shizune was afraid for Naruto now. She got up and walked to the door. Naruto looked at her thinking she was running away from a monster. She saw his look and went by him again. I'm not leaving you, I am going to get Tsunade-sama. She got back up and left the room. He heard the door being locked. He started to cry, thinking the villagers will now be seeing him as a monster. He brought his front legs to himself again and pushed up. He struggled with his back legs trying to get them under him. He fell down many times and lay panting on the ground. He kicked his back legs to try to get the shorts off him, but that failed. He reached around and grabbed a hold of the shorts. With a tug, he ripped the shorts apart. He gathered his legs under him again and pushed up to stand on his feet. Rest of the shorts fell down to the floor as he walked. He wobbled as he tried to walk on all fours. He fell down as he walked back to his bed. He did not get back up, but crawled under the bed to hide. Shizune came back a few minutes later with Tsunade and Jiraiya. The door closed and was locked behind the three. Where is he? Tsunade asked. He was here when I left him. Shizune said. He is under the bed hiding. I saw a foot move when we entered. Jiraiya said. Tsunade got down on the floor and looked under the bed. She saw Naruto looking back at her. Come here, Naruto, please. She saw Naruto curled himself tighter to get away from her. She moved closer to the bed and placed a hand under the bed towards him. He moved farther back from her and swatted her with one of his paws. She pulled back her hand and found 4 claw marks on her hand. She sat up and held her hand, and Shizune came by her side and pulled out some gauze from her pouch at her hip. He is frightened. She got up and looked to Jiraiya. He nodded and knelt down on the floor. He went through a series of hand seals and pointed his hands under the bed. Feathers appeared. Naruto panicked at what he did to Tsunade and Jiraiya using a jutsu on him. He tried to fight the effects of the jutsu, but lost. The adults heard a thump under the bed that indicated Naruto was out. Jiraiya reached under and pulled him out. He picked him up and laid him on the bed. He was about to cancel the jutsu when Tsunade placed a hand on his shoulder. We need to think of how to tell him what the Kyuubi did to him. He is in shock now from this. He should be out till the morning. Jiraiya, you stay with him tonight. With this happening, I think when he is told and stays calmed down, you take him to your mountain home. Get the fox summons to help him and see if he is able to change back. I am going to get papers done that looks like you took him training. Take him to the Hokage home. It will be a better ideal if he is not seen. Yes. He placed a hand on Naruto and teleported out of the room. Shizune, can you do the sign-out papers for him? I will be in my office. Yes, I will do that. Tsunade moved to the table and undid the seal. She took out Naruto's necklace and headband. The two left for their tasks. Jiraiya appeared in the room Tsunade was going to give Naruto. Jiraiya laid him down on the bed and looked around the room. It was larger than his own bedroom. He found packages all piled neatly on the floor. He found a chair and sat down. He rubbed his temples as a headache was coming on. Shizune came in a few minutes later with tea and a bottle of sake. Jiraiya reached for the sake, but his hand was slapped away. She sat the items down on a table and poured her some tea and handed a cup to Jiraiya. Tsunade came in a few minutes later, looking tired. They sat in silence for a good hour till noise brought them out of their stupor. They turned their attention to Naruto, who was whimpering in his sleep. Tsunade reached over and rubbed his back to calm him. He calmed down and she rested her hand on his back. I did not expect a side effect like this, and I believe the Kyuubi did not either. I hope he is able to change back. I do not know what to do with his friends. He just made them and now he is going to lose them. Easy. Tell them you thought it was wise that he spent some time outside of the village. Kakashi is going to be told of this. Jiraiya asked. Yes, I will tell him. Jiraiya, after you tell Naruto what happened to him, come by my office. I will give you the travel papers there. I guess the best time to leave the village is at night. I will send you some spending money with you. Fine. Let's get to bed. It is going to be a long day tomorrow, she said. Tsunade and Shizune left the room to their own room. Jiraiya made himself comfortable on the floor and fell asleep. Foxed. Midnight came. In the Akatsuki's base, the 9 followers were standing at attention in front of their leader. All that could be seen of their leader was his right arm up to the elbow. On his right thumb was the ring of their organization. His voice moved across the room effortlessly. I am disappointed you were not able to retrieve the 9 tails Itachi, Kisame. We have lost our opportunity to move our plans forward. We will have to wait 3 more years before the time is right. You two will try your hand at capturing the 9 tails still. The rest will work on capturing the rest. Sir, if I may ask, is there not more than the 1 9 tail? Kisame asked. Yes, there is more than the one nine-tail, but the one that resides in the child is the oldest and strongest. I had summoned it many years ago, but it got out of my grasp. I almost lost my life. I still want that one. It will be easier since it is already contained in a living vessel. If captured, in the near future, the vessel will not need much care to keep till the time comes again. I expect better results. Now leave. Each member bowed and left in a puff of smoke. Laughter filled the room that would bring any hardcore ninja to cringe. Soon I will have what I want. All I need is the 9 tails for my plan, but why stop there, when I can gain more power? Another fit of laughter came from the man, before he disappeared himself. Foxed. In Konoha it was now 3 in the morning. Naruto was still in a fox shape. He woke up, bolting up, when he remembered what had happened to him. He looked around and found he was not in the room he was in when he first woke up. He looked around and found he could see very well in the dark. He heard soft snoring below him and looked down to find Jiraiya sleeping on the floor. He wondered where he was. He got down to the floor and slowly took small steps to get used to walking on all fours. He got close to Jiraiya and sat down by him. He looked at the man sleeping on his back, spread eagle, talking in his sleep, trying his best to woo women and getting rejected. He could smell the sake from his breath. He did not know if he should wake him, but decided against it. He got up and walked to the door. He saw he would not be able to open it. He saw a large window and walked to it. He found that they were doors that lead to a balcony. The handles he saw he could open. He jumped up and placed his paws on the door. He looked back to see that Jiraiya was still asleep. He pawed at the lever handle and the door opened out. He stepped out and looked around. He walked up to the balcony's edge and saw that he was up high. He studied his surroundings and remembered where he was. The Hokage home, towards the center of the village. He turned around and walked back towards the room. He checked to see that Jiraiya was still asleep and shut the door. He looked for a good spot to jump to and found it. He got on top of the balcony railing and jumped to the next roof. He almost made it. He clung to the roof trying to get a hold. He got his back legs to get a grip and lifted himself to the roof. He laid down letting his heart to calm down. He found his nose was assaulted with many scents. It was hard for him to separate each one. He was startled when he heard rustling on the roof behind him. He turned around and could hear someone talking. He found that their voice came from the Hokage home. He left not wanting anyone to see him. Naruto picked up the running part very quickly in his panic state. He jumped from rooftop to rooftop, heading for the forest. He was a third of the way there. He jumped to a new rooftop and was about to jump to a new one, when the tile on the roof gave way under his foot. A shard of tile impaled through his right front foot. He lost his footing and fell 2 stories down to the ground. As he fell, he swung his body around to land on his feet. He landed on his feet, but sent the shard deeper in his foot. He gave out a cry and crumpled to the ground. A woman who had been on her porch rocking in her rocking chair heard as something landed on her roof and one of the tiles breaking. She let out a curse as she got up to see if she could see who it was this time. She was not expecting to have a large fox land in her backyard. She saw it as it crumpled in pain from landing on its feet. She watched as it got up and looked around. Light from street lights reflected in its eyes, showing them a blue color. She saw the fur was a bright yellow. The fox limped away, to the small fence and jumped over it, taking off. She narrowed her eyes as she thought of what she saw. She walked back in her home and went back to bed. I think I will have a talk with our Hokage tomorrow. Answers are needed. 11 of the 12 young ninjas of Leaf have gathered to get the truth of Naruto. They do not get their wish having to chase a blonde, blue-eyed fox that only thinks what others will only see of him, a demon, a monster, and Tsunade's headache will only get worse. It was the next day. Sakura and the others were getting up and readying themselves for their mission of talking with the Hokage. Shikamaru got out of his bed on time and got himself ready. All 11 of them were going to meet at a park that was close to the Hokage tower. At the Hokage home, Tsunade got up earlier than she would have, but with the situation with Naruto, she got up and headed for the room he and Jiraiya was in. She entered and found Jiraiya sound asleep. She walked past him and went to the bed. She saw a lump in the bed and pulled back the covers. She found no Naruto. She looked around the room trying to find him. She heard a creaking noise and watched as the balcony doors opened up. She left the room, but not before stepping on Jiraiya's stomach. He shot up and glared at her and she glared back at him. He was the first to look away. It seems your student left last night and ran away. I will be calling Kakashi to look for him. You get ready to go with him. Who knows how far he got. I am going to my office. She walked out letting Jiraiya ready himself. She walked back towards her room when Shizune came running to her. Tsunade-sama, one of the village elders wants to talk to you. Tell them I do not have time to do so. Naruto ran off last night and that stupid man let him go. I told her you were busy with something, but she refuses to leave. She demands your presence. Tell her to meet me at my office later today and that is the only free time I have. She said she will not take any excuse and that she. What is the matter? Why did you stop speaking? She is behind you right now. Tsunade turned around and saw the women in question. Elder Jin, please. She was cut short by the women raising a hand. I am here because of a cretin blonde hair, blue-eyed fox. I was outside for I could not sleep. I heard as one of my roof tiles break, by someone using my roof as a path. I believe many know that my roof is off limits. I got up to see if I could not catch the ignoramus who forgot about that, but to my surprise, a blonde fox, the size of a large dog fell in my yard. I do not know what to make of it until I saw its eyes. I only know 2 people who have that type of color of blue. Care to explain? I will, but can we discuss this in my office? Shizune, can you have Kakashi, Asuma, Guy and Kurenai gathered? Yes, Tsunade-sama. If you will follow me, Elder Jin. Tsunade said. Tsunade and the elder left for the Hokage Tower, with Shizune grabbing a guard station at the Hokage home to get the 4 Junin. Foxed. At the park outside the Hokage Tower, the group of 11 had met up. She usually gets to her office by 9, but it looked like she was early today, so she should have some time to visit with us. Now Kiba and Lee, we ask that you 2 remain quiet. Let us do all of the talking. We do not want to let our plan to miss up. Now let's go. Shikamaru said. The group of 11 left and entered into the tower. They made their way up the stairs and to the floor of the Hokage's office. As they walked towards the doors, they saw their instructors quickly enter. They did not know what to make of it. They walked up to the doors and the 2 guards looked at them. Neji was the one who spoke. We would like to know if the Hokage is in and if she can see us. Yes, the Hokage is in, but I do not know when she will be able to see you. If you want to see her, please wait in the waiting area. One guard asked. Thank you. They walked from the doors into an area with many chairs. They sat down, wondering why their instructors were called before the Hokage. Inside the Hokage's office, the 4 Junin were waiting to be addressed by the Hokage. Kakashi was shocked to see her face of worry. Shizune had the same face. You 4 are to go in search for Naruto. He ran away last night. Kurenai, Guy, and Asuma, I want you to get with your teams and get them prepared to leave. I believe they are outside. Take them and Kakashi's to Ibiki's office. He has supplies for you. Head to the north gate and wait for Kakashi. Do not tell them that Naruto ran away. Let Kakashi explain everything. When you find him, bring him back. The 3 nodded and left. Kakashi, I do not know how to explain this. Yesterday, a side effect appeared with the merger between Naruto and the Kyuubi. He turned into a fox, the size of a large dog. His fur is yellow and the 9-line spiral is still there. He escaped last night. Jiraiya went ahead to search for him. He said he will be leaving trail markers along the way. I see. He should be easy to find. Kakashi, he is very frightened and who knows what he will do to stay away. It is your decision to tell your students and the others of what happened. He may come back with them, knowing he has friends that do not care for what happened to him. Please bring him back, but be careful. I will. He said and disappeared from the room. Outside the 3 Junin walked up to group of 11. Asuma was in front and was the one to speak. Come with us, we have an emergency assignment. The 3 Junin walked away without giving an explanation. Kiba spoke up. What is the assignment? It will have to wait. Now come, we are picking up supplies and we need to get to the north gate. Asuma said. They followed the three and got their supplies. They left and ran along the rooftops to the north gate. What is the assignment, Asuma-sensei? Ino asked. It will have to wait. Kakashi-san knows the details. They arrived at the gates and found Kakashi waiting for them. Guy tossed him a small bag, which he placed over his shoulders. Okay, we will be heading northwest. Let's move out, we need to make speed our option. I will explain our mission when we are a ways in the forest. Kakashi said. He took to the trees without waiting for the young ninjas to ask questions. The rest followed him. They traveled for 3 hours without rest. Kakashi stopped and the others did. He looked at them, not able to come up with a way to tell them. He looked at the Junin and thought to tell them first. Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, I need to talk to you privately. The rest of you stay put and rest. Kakashi-sensei, but what is our assignment? Sakura asked. I will tell you in a minute. He jumped to a higher limb and the three Junin followed him. Once he was sure they were from hearing distance, he looked to the three. Why has Naruto run away, Kakashi? Kurenai asked. You see, the Kyuubi made the dissension to merge with Naruto. It told us why it attacked. A control jutsu was placed on it. It was ordered to attack Konoha. The jutsu was dispelled, once sealed into Naruto. For the last 10 days, Naruto has been in the hospital in a type of coma, while the Kyuubi fused its gifts and power with him. It did not know of what might happen to him, but yesterday I guess is that he transformed into a fox. He's what? Guy yelled. Where the group of 11 waited, they all jumped at Guy's yell. They looked at each other wondering what was going on. Asuma dropped his cigarette from surprise. Guy, please, I know, but we need to find him. Jiraiya is out looking for him. Tsunade does not know how far he has gotten, but I do not know if I should tell the others. It is the reason he ran away. He does not know the Kyuubi did this. They should be told of what has happened to him. If they understand and willing to accept what has happened and be there for him, he would be easier to bring back. Kurenai said. Yes, Tsunade said that, and it was my decision. I think I will. They already had many questions about him. He looked up to the sky and saw dark clouds gathering. I hope they take it all right. He got up and moved back to the group with the three Junin behind him. He got in the center and looked at them to see their attention on him. He sat down on a tree limb, brought his hands to his head, and rubbed his temples trying to relieve the headache that was beginning. What is wrong, sensei? Sakura asked. Well, all of you are going to freak when I tell you about your mission. We are to find Naruto and bring him back. Everyone yelled a response to him wanting more of why he ran away. Kakashi held up his hands to quiet them down. He ran away because he was afraid of what people would think of him. What are you talking about? People just think he is annoying, loud, and a prankster. That could not cause him to run away. Ino said. No, but that is not it. You all know what happened 13 years ago, that the Kyuubi that attacked Konoha and was defeated by the fourth, but he did not defeat it, but sealed it away into a newborn child. The only child that happened to born on that day was Naruto. That is why the villagers hate him. They see him as the demon. Sakura said. Everyone stared at Kakashi while he let the information sink in. That would answer many of your questions you had. 10 days ago, the Kyuubi started to merge with Naruto, willing. It told us that attacking Konoha was not its fault. It decided to merge with Naruto, I believe to make amends, and it did not know if any side effects would come. Yesterday one did, he changed into a fox himself. Everyone looked at him wide-eyed. Everyone moved to ask questions, but he stopped them. No time to ask questions. We need to find him. Jiraiya-sama is already out looking for him. We may have trouble bringing Naruto back. Try and not harm him much, and he is frightened and who knows what he can do. Let's get going. Once we capture him, then I can answer more of your questions. If we are looking for Naruto as a fox, what does he look like? 1010 asked. He will be easy to spot. Yellow, with blue eyes, and on his right side a 9-line spiral that is orange. He is the size of a large dog. Everyone nodded and was about to leave when a rustle was heard above them. They turned their attention to the limbs above them, readying for an attack when a large orange frog wearing a suit jumped out and landed on Kakashi's head. You know, you are not very good ninjas if I can find you. Ah Gamakichi, it is good to see you again. Yeah, Arrow Sennin sent me. He found Naruto's trail and is following him. He is waiting for you to catch up. Just head off to your right, he left markers for you to follow. Who is Arrow Sennin? Lee asked. It is better you do not know him. Father hates him. He likes Naruto over that pervert. Tell that pervert that father wants word on Naruto. I am going. The frog summon said. With a puff of smoke, the frog summon was gone. Everyone had confused faces. That was Gamakichi, son of the frog boss. Arrow Sennin is the name Naruto gave to the frog Sennin. Let's go. Everyone took off, flowing Kakashi. Everyone was quiet, still letting the information about Naruto sink in. Foxed. Naruto had just kept running after he left the village of Konoha. He ran, believing that the people will only see him as a demon. He ignored the pain from his foot, not caring as each step brought the tile shard deeper in his foot. He ran until midday and he collapsed from exhaustion. He tired to fight his fatigue, but lost. He fell asleep where he fell. Foxed. Jiraiya followed Naruto's trail easily. It was not hard to miss the bloody fox footprints. It was mid-morning when he found him and he summoned a frog to go back to find Kakashi. He got mad when the frog called him Arrow Sennin. Once the frog was gone, he swore to himself that he was going to kill Naruto when he was better. He stayed in the treetops and waited for Kakashi and the others to appear. It was noon when he saw Naruto get up and walked, limp to the small pond. He sat down and just stared at his reflection. Kakashi appeared next to the frog Sennin, actually scaring him. Damn it Kakashi, why did you do that? Jiraiya hissed to the man. Do what? Never mind. Is it just you or are there more? There are more. I had them circle around boxing in Naruto. It is Asuma, Guy, and Kurenai along with their teams, and mine. They know about the Kyuubi and Naruto and to be careful. So, how are we going to do this? Should you or I go? I should go. Have the others keep him boxed in. If he becomes too much to handle, I will just knock him out. His front leg is injured so he should not be able to run well. Both turned their eyes to watch Naruto. They watched as he lay down and placed his injured paw in the water. He laid down his head and closed his eyes. The wind picked up swirling around him. His head shot up picking up the smell of frogs, dogs and cigarettes. He shot up, wincing when he placed weight on his paw. He ignored it and looked around. That is not good. I forgot about his senses. I am going to see if I cannot talk to him. Be ready, he may bolt. Jiraiya said. He jumped down to the forest floor and waited until Naruto was facing towards him. He stepped out holding his hands up with his palms facing Naruto. Calm down Naruto. Come on let's go back. Tsunade is worried about you. I will explain what happened to you when we get back, he said with a smile. Naruto crouched down when he heard the frog Sennin. He started to walk backwards. He stopped when one of his back paws hit the water. He looked around him to figure where to run. As Jiraiya came closer, he feinted to the Sennin's right hoping he would fall for it. Jiraiya lunged at him to grab a hold of him. As he fell, he watched Naruto look at him with a pained look in his eyes and took off in the opposite direction of his fall. He fell hard and watched as Naruto ran away from him. He got up and prepared a sleep jutsu just in case he came running back, when he found his way was blocked. Naruto ran as fast as he could from the Sennin. He dove into some bushes and came out to meet up with Kiba and Shino. Kiba lunged forward and grabbed Naruto around the neck. Both fell to the ground with Kiba on top, using his weight to pin Naruto down. Naruto trashed, trying to break the hold from Kiba. Shino moved and grabbed his back legs and pinned them to the ground. Lee came and did the same thing to his front. Naruto calm down. We are here to help. Please, let's go back to the village. Lee said. Naruto kept on struggling as the three tried to get him to calm down. He quit his trashing and stilled under their grip. Lee and Shino released their hold and moved away. Kiba relaxed his grip. Asuma came to them and saw that Naruto had his eyes closed. As Kiba's grip loosened, Naruto tensed up and Kiba felt it. He was about to tighten his grip, but Naruto was able to turn his body, flipping Kiba with him. As his arms flew apart, Naruto got up and ran away, but Kiba got over landing on his back and grabbed Naruto by the tail. Naruto let out a yelp in pain and everyone winced at it. Naruto landed on his side and Asuma rushed in to pin him. Naruto jumped up and turned around, making Asuma missed and Naruto stepped on Kiba's stomach, making him let go of his tail. He returned back where Jiraiya was and found him running through hand seals. He called out the attack and aimed it for Naruto. Naruto saw feathers flying towards him and he picked up Seep and dogged under the jutsu. Jiraiya saw him running towards him and had no time to react. Naruto ran through his legs, knowing he surprised the Sennin. Jiraiya came out of his surprise and grabbed his tail. Naruto let out another yelp. He got angry, turned around, and bit the Sennin in the rump. He jerked down, ripping Jiraiya's pants. The man let go of Naruto's tail, placed his hands on his rump, and glared daggers at Naruto. He saw that he had a piece of cloth in his mouth. Naruto moved backwards from the Sennin and spat out the cloth. Brat, you are going to pay for that. He went through another series of hand seals and aimed his hands at Naruto. The ground started to give way under Naruto and he jumped in time as the solid ground turned into mud. Jiraiya cussed. Naruto took off towards the lake knowing others might block him in. He jumped in and started to swim to the other side. Kakashi came out of nowhere and ran towards him. Naruto saw him run on the water, and wondered if he was able to use his chakra. He tired and found himself with footing on top of the water. Kakashi saw this and quickened his pace, running through a set of hand seals. Naruto took off not wanting to know what was to happen. He was not fast enough as Kakashi ran up to him, grabbing his tail for the third time, and sent a jolt of electric through his body. As Naruto lost conscious, Kakashi grabbed him by the scruff and picked him up. He walked back to where Jiraiya was and sat Naruto down on the ground. He looked at the Sennin with a smile. I did not know they made boxers with frogs on them. Very funny, that hurt, he said, rubbing his rear end. The others came from their hiding spots and looked at Naruto. Kakashi picked up Naruto's injured paw and looked at it. He face contorted as he looked at. He reached in his utility pouch, pulled out a small water canteen, and poured the water over the wound to wash away the blood and debris. He then poured alcohol on it and wrapped it up. He sat down next to Naruto. That took a lot out of me. Is Naruto going to be alright? Hinata asked. Well, mostly yes. Tsunade-sama believes he should be able to change back into his original form. Are you okay, Kiba? Kakashi asked. Yeah, all he did was step on my stomach and my ears are still ringing from his yelp. We should get back late tonight and he should stay asleep until then. So we should have plenty of time to rest while we eat. Kakashi said. Everyone nodded and went through their packs they were given. They found meal packs and fist aid supplies, along with commutations devices and some survival kits. They ate in quiet, not once voicing their questions. As they ate, Naruto woke up. He found himself on the grass, wet and hungry. He looked around and found Kakashi sitting next to him. He kept his breathing slowed to show he was still out and his eyelids half closed. He looked at what he could see in his range of vision. He saw he was facing the lake he tried to escape on. He also saw Jiraiya coming towards where he was. Jiraiya stopped next to Naruto, looking down at him. Kakashi, I see that they are taking it well. Yes, but it could just be the shock of it. Learning that Naruto was the container of the creature that attacked 13 years ago, I just do not know how the others will take it. They just see him as the Kyuubi who attacked. They are just narrowed-minded. It will all change once we can tell him. Yeah, but I do not know how he will take it. It will be hard for him. Jiraiya kneeled down and placed a hand on Naruto. Naruto tried to keep still as Jiraiya placed a hand on top of his head. Naruto flinched when Jiraiya touched him. He wanted his ploy to work. Jiraiya and Kakashi reached out to grab him as he got up to run. The others saw this and watched as the two men struggled to keep Naruto from bolting. Calm down, Naruto. Let me explain what has happened to you. Jiraiya said. Guy, Asuma, and Kurenai came running to help. Naruto broke free from Kakashi's grip around his neck. He arched around and bit Jiraiya in the arm to release him around the waist. The man let him go, clutching his arm. Naruto got up and ran away from the two. He headed for the water again, but was stopped by Guy. Naruto turned around and found Asuma, Kurenai, and Kakashi surrounded around him. He tucked his tail between his back legs. Kakashi smiled slightly at this. Are you okay, Jiraiya? Kakashi asked. Jiraiya stood up as the rest of the young ninjas came closer. Sakura pulled out bandages and wrapped the Senin's arm. Yeah, his bite was not that damaging, it was enough to get me to release him. Naruto, you need to calm down. Let me explain what happened. Naruto would not listen. He flared his chakra, making the 4 Junin fall down to the ground. He jumped over Kurenai and went straight for the forest. Kakashi got up, wanting to empty his stomach. Go after him now. Get him knocked out any way you can. Kakashi yelled. The group ran off after Naruto. Shikamaru in front looked back to the others. Fan out and get the radios out. Kiba, do you have his trail? Yes, I do. He is running straight. Good. When he stops to rest, we will circle him again. I will use my shadow bind and Sasuke, you knock him out. After that, tie him up. Everyone nodded at this. They fanned out and followed Naruto. Jiraiya was fuming with anger. Kakashi tried to calm him down. Jiraiya, please calm down. Let me clean your wound. Jiraiya sat down while Kakashi cleaned his wound from Naruto. I knew I should have tied him up. Kakashi, I am going to the hideout. If you get him, bring him there. Okay, Jiraiya-sama. Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, come, let's go after them. They many need our help. The group nodded as Kakashi bit his thumb and ran through a series of hand seals. He slammed down his hand and called out to summon Pakun. Pakun, it is Naruto again. We just need you to show us the trail he has made. Right, Kakashi. The little dog Nin took off with the 4 Junin behind him. Jiraiya gathered the stuff that was left behind, before teleporting away to the hideout. He appeared in front of a cliff face and sat down thinking of how to explain everything to Naruto. He rubbed at his temples, as his headache came. Naruto ran from his friends and sensei, too afraid to listen what they had to say. Will he stop to listen, or will he be stopped? Naruto ran, not caring as his skin was cut from bushes and thorns. The group of 11 traveled through the treetops, covering more ground. Kiba and Akamaru were able to keep up his trail. They traveled close to 4 hours, with Naruto running blindly. He did not know he was about to fall into a mud pit as he jumped over a fallen tree in his way. He landed in and sunk up to his neck. The mud was too thick for him to swim across. He tried using his chakra, but found he was too tired to try. He lay in the mud catching his breath. He hurt all over from running. As he caught his breath, he looked around him, to see where he was. He gathered his strength and forced himself to the side of mud pit. It took him 20 minutes to get across. He pulled out only the front half of his body and collapsed to the ground. He was breathing very hard, trying to calm himself and get his breath back. He got up and walked away from the mud pit. The group caught up to Naruto and surrounded him. They came out of their cover from the trees and Naruto went on the defensive. He looked at them through burly eyes. Naruto, that is as far you go. Come back with us, we don't want to hurt you. Shikamaru said. Naruto started to growl. Just leave me alone, you don't care for me. Kiba blinked when he understood Naruto. Naruto looked around him to find an exit through them. He knew he could not go up against Sasuke, Neji and Shino. Choji was another problem, as was Lee. Shikamaru, he did not know a lot about the shadow user, but did not want to be caught by him. The girls, he believed he had a chance with, epically Hinata. He looked at Sakura and Ino, who were standing next each other. They would be his choice as an exit. As he thought of his escape, the group moved closer to him, thinking this would cut his chances off. Shikamaru started his hand seals to catch Naruto in his shadow as he looked away from him. Before he finished the last hand seal, Naruto bolted. Ino and Sakura did their best, but Naruto pushed himself through, with the girls falling down. He ran past them, giving the group a glance before he took off. The girls got up, getting the mud off their bodies. We had him, but that mud. Ino said, it is okay, we can get him again. He is getting tired. The transformation could have taken a lot out of him and he has been running since last night. Let's go before he gets too much of a gap. Shikamaru said. The group took off after Naruto, hoping their plan would work a second time. They lost his trail after another hour of looking for him. That mud covered up his scent. I can't find any signs of him or even Akamaru. Kiba said. Reason he would not stop for us, is that he does not see us as friends. We only recently got interested into Naruto as a friend. Sasuke said. They nodded and fanned out to look for a sign of a trail that he could have made. Foxed. Naruto ran through the undergrowth of the forest. He paused long enough to figure out how to get some of the mud off. He ached all over. His foot hurt him as he walked to catch his breath. The mark on his arm started to fade. He looked around him, not for sure what to do. He heard running water and walked towards it. He got to a stream and started to drink. He lay down to catch his breath and rest. Why did this happen? I don't deserve this. His head snapped up to his left when a twig snapped. He got up, backing away. 3 people walked out. He saw that they had bows and arrows. One had a long stick in his hand. Naruto turned and bolted from them, but was hit by the man with the stick. It was not a stick, but a blowgun. A dart hit Naruto in the hind leg as he ran. He let out a yelp of pain. He decided to run back towards the others. He started to slow in his run and tipped over his own feet, falling down. He lay on his side, breathing hard. He fought to keep his eyes open as his vision blurred. The 3 men quickly caught up to him. Naruto looked at them, before losing his battle, falling asleep. Foxed. This is strange. I never saw a fox this big. One man said. Are you sure it is a fox? Another said. Yes, it is. Let's get it back to camp. That tranquilizer dart won't last long. Man 1 said. One man broke off a large tree limb. Another pulled out rope from his bag. They tied Naruto's legs together and slid the limb between his legs. The 3rd man muzzled him. He opened up one of Naruto's eyes and raised an eyebrow. His eyes are blue. I think underneath this mud, its fur is a yellow in color. He is an odd one. Do you think he is blind? Blue eyes usually mean blind in some animals. Man 2 asked. No, he has sight. He would have died a long time ago. Man 3 said. 2 of the men lifted Naruto off the ground, resting the ends of the branch on their shoulders. Nina is going to be mad with us. We have not been able to find a deer for supper. Man 1 said. She won't get mad with us much. Man 3 said. What of the fox? Man 2 said. Don't know. Nina will be surprised to see it. I know. Man 3 said. They walked on until late evening. They made it back to their camp. 4 other people got ready to protect themselves, just in case. The women of the group was the first to stand down. Ron, that does not look like a deer to me. Ron, Man 3, laughed. No, it is not. It is a fox. She raised an eyebrow at him. She walked up to them as they sat Naruto down on the ground. I never saw one like this. Go wash off the mud off him before he wakes. Ron nodded and helped the other 2. The women went to her tent, going through her bag. Nina, what are you doing? Looking for that collar I had bought before we left. I was hoping to get a dog to train. John, get me some rope. Nina walked out of her tent, holding a 3-inch width collar. John brought her some rope. The 3 men returned with a wet fox. They set him in front of the campfire. Nina put on the collar and tied the end of the rope to a tree. She pulled off the muzzle. Got any plans with the fox? Ron asked. I don't know. We might want to try at the trade center on the island a few days from Wave. That pace would be good. It will just be out of our way on our return trip home. Well, I am off to bed. I will be glad to get home. Ron said. The group went to bed, taking turns for watch. Foxed. The group of young ninjas stopped their search as the sun set. They were tired and had found no signs of Naruto, except finding the bandage. The Junin caught up to them. He got away from us and we lost his trail. It did not help when he got covered in mud. Sakura said. It is okay. We will start first thing in the morning. Rest up. Kakashi said. They made camp. They ate something small and went to bed, with the Junin taking the watch. In the morning, the group woke up, still exhausted. They cleared their signs of camp and moved off in their teams, spitting up, hoping to find a sign of Naruto. With the hunters, Naruto woke up before dawn. He hurt all over. He got up shakily and moved away from the campfire. He found he was tied to a tree. He jerked, trying to get free. He couched down when he heard movement. He saw 6 people around him. At least it is awake. Let's break camp and move out. We have 3 days to get to the ship. The clouds look thicker and it might rain soon, Ron said. The group started to pack their stuff. Nina walked up to Naruto slowly, holding a bowl. He moved away from her. She noticed he did not put weight on one of his legs. His nose twitched, smelling the contents of the bowl. His stomach let out its protest of not being fed. She smiled and set the bowl down and walked away. Naruto stood there, not for sure what to do. He walked forward to the bowl and sniffed the contents. It was a mix of meats and vegetables. He was not sure if he should eat it or even how. He saw that the group was watching him as they packed furs. He stuck his muzzle in the bowl and it was like instinct that took over as he devoured the contents of the bowl. This sucks. It is like I knew how to do this, but what of the other part? Crap. He felt a tug and was dragged away from the bowl. He looked back and saw it was one of the men dragging him. He locked his legs and dug in to stay put. The man jerked the rope, but Naruto was not moving. A loud pop was heard and Naruto yelped as a whip made contact with him. He bolted forward, falling backwards when the man holding the rope pulled back. The man started to drag Naruto. He got up and followed the man. That was easier than I thought. John said. John, pin him down. I think there is something in his paw. Nina said. The man pulled on the rope and walked forward. Naruto did not know what to do. He jerked trying to get free. The man quickly grabbed him by the muzzle. Naruto clawed at him, but was pinned down by the man's weight. Nina walked forward with Ron beside her. He grabbed Naruto's back legs. He growled at them, struggling to get free. Nina grabbed his right front foot and pushed on the pad. He let out a whine as she examined his paw. She pulled out a small knife, enlarging the cut she found. She dug and was able to get the shard out. I don't know what it was, but it was in there for a few days. Lou, get me the medical kit. A man walked up to her, handing her the kit. She opened it up, pulling out alcohol. She poured it on the cut and wrapped it up. Nina, you know he will pull it off. Ron said. I know. They moved off from Naruto and he got up. He tried to break free again, but was pulled to follow. They walked on. John had to jerk the lead to get Naruto to follow him. Foxed. The Leaf Ninjas were having trouble finding any signs of Naruto. They kept in contact between the radios, glad that they were powered by their chakra. Unfortunately, with Lee's limited chakra his went dead within 2 hours. It was noon before they found any signs of Naruto. Kakashi, we found signs of Naruto. All it is pulled hair when he went through bushes and some paw prints. Asuma said over the radio. Okay, we will meet up with you. The groups meet up and followed what they could. Foxed. The hunters stopped for a break. Naruto decided to try to make a run for it. He started to whine and tug at his lead, heading towards a tree. John, give him some slack, I think he needs to go to the bathroom. You don't know how bad I have to go. Damn, this sucks. The man let him have more rope and he walked behind the tree. He hated it, but he used the bathroom. I don't think Kiba will stop making fun of me. What am I to do? I need to get away from them. Think, Naruto, think. He sat, with his ear twitching in irritation. I was able to use my chakra on the water before Kakashi-san knocked me out, but I had trouble with it. His stomach let out a growl. He was hungry. He let out a sigh, as a fly started to bug him, landing on his ear. It would come back, even when it was sent away when he twitched his ear. He was fed up and snapped at the fly, missed and bit his tongue instead. He gave a whine and let his tongue hang from his mouth. He about hit his head against the tree, for not thinking of that earlier. He grabbed a hold of the rope and started to chew. He got halfway through, when the women of the group came to him, bringing him food. He bit down, pulled with his might, and broke the rest of the rope. The women yelled to the others as Naruto took off. He dodged around trees and through bushes, hoping to get away and find the others. He jumped a fallen log, hearing a whistling sound. He was jerked back, falling on his back. He choked, trying to get breath. He looked back to see one of the men holding on another rope. Naruto got up, hoping to jerk the rope from the man. He yelped as a dart hit him in the shoulder. He jerked, getting the rope loose. He ran, looking for a spot to hide or even to see the others. He noticed he was moving slower until he was just walking. He stopped, unable to think of something. He wobbled on his feet and fell down on his stomach. He blinked, looking at a flower in front of him. He heard as old dry leaves crunched under someone's feet and heard familiar voices. Hinata knelt down in front of him, placing a hand on his head. How is he? Kurenai asked. Oh okay, but he will be out because of the dart. Let's get him moved. Kiba, Shino, grab him and up a tree. I sense 3 people coming, fast. The 2 grabbed Naruto's legs, Kiba his front ones, and jumped into a tree and quickly pulled the rope to them. Hinata and Kurenai followed as the 3 of the hunters came in the clearing. They stopped and looked around. His tracks end here. Where could it have gone? One said. Don't know. It should be out by now, with the dart and running around. Split up and find it. The 3 moved in different directions. Kurenai could tell Shino and Kiba were have trouble holding Naruto. She motioned for them to drop back down on the ground. They did, with Kiba dropping Naruto. Kurenai grimaced slightly as Shino laid his half down. She reached to her radio and pressed a button. We found him. We will meet up with you in a few minutes. Kakashi said over the radio. There are hunters looking for him. They must have caught him earlier and he escaped. She said. Be careful. Asuma said. Kurenai walked to Naruto and pulled out the dart. She took the rope off and packed it in her bag. Akamaru barked and Kiba looked at the group. He says that Kakashi-san is coming. Kakashi dropped down from the tress as Kiba finished talking. Sasuke and Sakura came right after him. Those hunters are heading back. There is a village not far from here. Asuma and Guy went ahead to get rooms at one of the hotels. Kurenai handed him the dart. He was hit with this when we found him. Kakashi sniffed it. His nose curled, but went unseen under his mask. Its potency will only last for a few hours, let's go. Kakashi knelt down and picked up Naruto. He jumped to a tree with the others following him. The hunters meet back up in the area they were in and one was furious. He must have found a place to hide. One said. Let's get the others. Another said. The 3 headed back to the others to help search for Naruto, not knowing someone else had found him. Foxed. Kakashi, Kurenai, and their teams ran through the forest. It took them an hour before they stopped at the edge of the forest line. Kurenai contacted the others. Guy, Asuma, where are you? We are at the hotel on the south side of the village. We are on the 2nd story, the window is open. Guy said. Kakashi dropped down and ran along the ground with the others following. They made it to the houses and jumped to the rooftops. No one saw the group of ninjas make their way over the rooftops and into a window. Kakashi laid Naruto down on a bed. He saw that everyone was in the room. He raised an eyebrow to Guy. Only could get one room? He asked in amusement. No, but everyone wants to know how Naruto is. Guy said. He nodded as he sat down on the bed. Kakashi-san, tell us the truth. Is he the son of? Ino asked. Kakashi held up his hand for her to be quiet. I rather you stay quiet about it for now. I want to tell Naruto what has happened first, then I will tell you. Why don't you all go out and get something to eat? See if you can't find a ramen stand. Even one filed out. The Junin sat down on the beds as Kakashi looked over Naruto for any broken bones or wounds. He only found starches that were healing. He looked at the right front paw and saw it was completely healed. He took off the collar. The mark is gone. Kakashi, what does that mean? Guy asked. I don't know. He should be waking up soon. I will stay here, go get something to eat. I will be sending a message to Jiraiya and Tsunade. They nodded and left. Kakashi made a set of hand seals and placed his hand on the floor. Pakun appeared. I see you found Naruto. Yes, I need you to take a message to Jiraiya and Tsunade, telling them we are in a village 5 days from Konoha. Jiraiya is at the hideout. The summoned dog Nin nodded and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Kakashi got up and walked to the window. He looked around and saw many of the young ninjas at different shops eating or sitting together, talking. He looked to Naruto, who was curled up and still asleep. He walked up to Naruto and laid a hand on his head. He opened his eyes and looked at Kakashi, who smiled under his face mask. Naruto, will you listen to me? His eyes widened. He sat up and looked around, finding himself in a room. He moved off the bed, looking for a way out. Kakashi let out a sigh. Naruto slumped, with his ears falling flat to his head. He looked up at Kakashi. Take it easy, Naruto. Let me tell you what has happened. The others know that you were the container of the Kyuubi. They came looking for you and want to be your friends. Naruto looked up at him at the words were in friends. Kakashi saw the puzzled look on his face. Let me explain what happened after I brought you back to the hospital. Kakashi explained and Naruto was surprised at what happened. He remembered what the fox said to him. When Kakashi got to the part about the mark given to him, Kakashi only shrugged. It could have disappeared in this form you are in. Tsunade believes you can change back once you contact the two tails. I also need to tell you something that was to be told when you turned 13. Your father was Yondaime. Naruto snorted at Kakashi, who furrowed his eyebrows. You knew. Naruto rolled his eyes. Kakashi snorted at him. You are not angry at him or us for not telling you. Naruto shook his head no. He let out a yawn. You get some sleep. I am going to get something to eat. Stay put, and I will bring you something later. Naruto just curled up on the bed, falling asleep. Kakashi smiled slightly, knowing this ordeal was long from over. He left the hotel, locking the door. He met up with the other Junin. If you are here, he must have wakened. Guy said. Yes. How did he take the news? Kurenai asked. Better than I thought. Damn, Fox knew who his father was. Asuma chalked on his drink. He knew. How? Kurenai asked. I don't know, we will have to find out later when he changes back. Foxed. The young leaf ninjas gathered up at a small park. They were quiet, unable to come up with a topic to discuss. They sat there for an hour with Sasuke, trying to stick a kunai under his cast, trying to relieve the itching. He gave up, unable to reach the itch site. He holstered his weapon and looked at the group. What are we going to do now? He asked. Everyone looked around at each other. No one could come up with a solution and was unfamiliar with Sasuke talking. Just being there for Naruto will be enough. He is going to need friends. Everyone brought their attention to Kakashi as he walked up to the group. The rest of the Junin followed him. Kakashi crouched down and looked to Kiba. Kiba, I need to know if you can understand different animals, besides your family's dog partners. I can understand some other animals of the dog family. I can understand what Naruto says. That is good. You can go see Naruto, he is asleep right now. I am going to go get him something to eat, and find him some cloths just in case he does change back on the way home. Kakashi tossed the key to Sasuke. He stood up and walked from the group. The Junin followed him, talking about group training. Kakashi pulled out his book and began to read. I really hate your sensei Sakura. Ino said. You should hate the one who writes the books. Jiraiya-sama writes them. He was the sensei of Yondaime and Yondaime was the sensei of Kakashi-san. Sakura said. She got up and dusted the dirt from herself. The rest got up and walked back to the hotel. They got to the hotel and found Naruto still asleep. They found seats on the floor and beds. They looked at each other, seeing who would wake up Naruto. Ino grinned and pushed Hinata forward. You do it, Hinata-chan, you have a crush on him. She squeaked at what Ino said. Laughter erupted through the room. Naruto woke up seeing them in the room. He noticed that Hinata had a beet red face and twiddling her fingers. His head tilted. Sakura, he is dense. Ino said. His eyebrows furled as laughter and snorts filled the room. Naruto sent a glare at Ino. Naruto, what did Kakashi-san tell you? Kiba asked. He looked at him, and he sunk down. I can understand you. He thought how to talk to them and shrugged his shoulders. If eating came to me, why not this? He just started to talk, hoping it would work. He told me that Kyuubi fused its chakra with me. He told me who my father was, but I already knew. The group heard low yelps and growls from Naruto. Kiba nodded his head and smiled. How did you find out? Kiba, you will have to tell us what he said. Neji said. Kakashi-san told him that the Kyuubi merged its chakra to him. He already knew who his father was. Everyone looked at Naruto, who did a shrug, if it could be called one. I learned when Ero Sennin was drunk one night, when we went to find Obaa-chan. He sleep-talked through the night telling Arashi that he will take care of me, just don't hurt me. I knew before. Who else had blonde hair and blue eyes like me? Kiba told them. The door opened up with Kakashi walking in. He was carrying 2 bowls of ramen. Naruto looked at him and his ears folded down. We have to be careful. The hunters that were looking for Naruto are in the same hotel as us. So Naruto, tell me, or tell Kiba, how do you know of your father? Kiba smirked and told him. Kakashi let out a laugh. Oh well, now I think all of you need to vacate this room. I plan to get a shower and go to sleep. You can play with the fox later. We will be heading home in the morning. Naruto snorted as the group left. Kakashi set the bowls down on the floor. He got a shower and went to bed. Naruto ate the meal, still finding himself hungry. He went to bed feeling very tired himself.